Okay, we had some technical difficulties, but it's time for the full reaction to Carl's video. Again, I'm upset I didn't get to finish reading the verdict, but let's go. Let's go. We finally got this working. Okay.
On the 1st of April, I lost my lawsuit against Billy Mitchell, and the judge has ordered me to pay $350,000.
Also, in the interim, while fiddling with audio problems, I decided I would stream the reaction as well. So I might comment on some chat comments if they should appear and be relevant. But anyway, let's watch this very exciting breaking news video of Carl Jobst.
In damages, plus interest. It goes without saying this is not the result I wanted or expected, and it's honestly quite shocking. Personally, I disagree with the judge's decision, and so I'm currently exploring any potential avenues for appeal. An appeal may stay the judgment on application until the appeal has concluded, which might result in several outcomes.
Okay. I've already seen this a few times. I've seen the first minute a few times. That's why I'm not really reacting.
Finds it excessive, or the judgment may be overturned completely if the
but basically,
errors of law have been made. This entire process
he can get the verdict thrown out. He can get the amount reduced. Whatever, all sorts of stuff.
And it's not a battle I hope to give up.
He's going to appeal.
This has been very upsetting, but truthfully, losing a court case isn't the end of the world, even if it is to Billy Mitchell. It sucks. It's not what I wanted. I know it's not what others wanted. But
I wanted it.
Go on. Unfortunately for me, something else has happened that has been far more upsetting and far more difficult to deal with. Many people are upset and angry with me as they believe I have misled them and lied to them about the nature of the lawsuit.
Oh
Some
yeah.
go as far as saying that I intentionally lied to the public to scam people out of their money through my GoFundMe. Mostly, people are upset because they believed the trial was about me accusing Billy Mitchell of cheating, but it turned out to be something else. The backlash has been pretty brutal.
What was it about, Carl?
I'd like to happen again, so I think it's very important for me to be as honest and transparent as I possibly can.
Okay, good start.
The entire timeline as it happened, so that you have as much information as possible. At certain points, I'm going to have to combat things that people have said about me that aren't true.
Combat.
That doesn't mean I didn't also make mistakes, and that there also aren't valid criticisms.
Oh, really?
Criticisms that I think are wrong, and those that
You're not perfect and infallible, Carl.
About the generic Minecraft footage, but I just don't do well on camera. So
oh, come on, Carl. Chuck the webcam on. I want to see that beautiful shine.
Men in video game history strike again. In that video, I discussed two new lawsuits that have been filed by Todd Rogers.
Look at these guys.
Billy Mitchell. At the end of the video, I outlined all of the various lawsuits Billy Mitchell had filed against others. And when I came around to Billy's lawsuit against the YouTuber Apollo Legend, I said these words. He also sued YouTuber Apollo Legend for $1 million. I haven't spoken about this publicly, but this lawsuit
Rest in peace.
ended with Apollo giving in and settling with Mitchell. He was forced to remove all of his videos about Mitchell's cheating and paid him a large sum of money.
I watched I don't want this video to be super long, but it's probably going to end up being 3 hours. But I watched Apollo's goodbye video, and that was tough. That's tough stuff. Rest in peace to Apollo Legend. I hadn't seen it before, so it was, yeah. Don't kill yourselves, folks. Got to get permission from me first if you want to kill yourself.
Him deeply in debt, which required him to find extra work. But with his ongoing health issues, this was all too much.
That's the video.
And he ultimately
He blurred it.
Not that Billy Mitchell would ever care, though. In fact, when Billy Mitchell thought Apollo died earlier, he expressed joy at the thought. The lawsuit against Apollo was just as frivolous as the rest, and Apollo definitely would have won in court, but again, he was extremely ill and couldn't handle the ongoing stress. This was inaccurate because the settlement terms did not involve Apollo Legend paying Billy any money. Even though this claim did turn out to be false, I believed it to be true at the time.
Sure you did.
Told there was a cash settlement.
Wait, hold on. You believed it at the time, but what about after Keemstar told you that it was not true? What about when Keemstar said it wasn't true? He better mention... If Carl doesn't mention the Keemstar DMs, I swear to God, I'm going to be furious.
numerous others said they
I
were
should-
told as well.
I should be quieter. It is 4 a.m. I apologize to my neighbors.
And this was also stated by multiple Reddit users, with one of them even claiming to have spoken with Apollo directly. Obviously,
Guys, I read it on Reddit. Guys, I believed it to be true because a Redditor DM'd me that it was true. So obviously, it's not defamation.
a Reddit post isn't usually very credible, but this person made these comments and was talking about the settlement before the settlement was even public, which implied to me
So they were just outrageously lying. It's not just that they were on Reddit and lying. It's that they were lying so outrageously that it must be true. My name is Carl Jobst. I'm very intelligent.
that they knew what they were talking about and it was trustworthy. And the idea that Apollo Legend may have paid Billy Mitchell a large sum of money was already out in the public. In a 2020 Easyscape video, he said this.
Like I mentioned at the start of the video, there's a good chance that Apollo had to pay Billy a large amount of money in the settlement.
Good chance. There was a good chance. Very important distinction. When he says there's a good chance, it means he does not know. It means he has no idea. He's just predicting it based on his knowledge of the world.
Rumors online suggested it to be
Very
anywhere
different.
from $10,000 to $50,000 if this is what happened.
This is his defense of his repetition of this statement. This is the, you can hear the Fappin song. I'm not playing anything, am I? I'm not accidentally playing anything on my desktop audio, am I? This is his defense of why he made the statement. He's justifying that the statement was reasonable to make because Easyscape said there might have been a cash settlement, and Ursat's Elevator, whatever that guy's name was, on Reddit, said it was true before the settlement was even done, apparently. Before the settlement was even decided by the judge. You know, this is a terrible defense. This is awful. This is awful. Are all Carl videos this bad? Because I have only watched... the only, like, modern Carl video where he's now a YouTuber I've watched was the Doom one, the very first one, the Tightrope Doom episode. Is this what every Carl video is like? Him making these moronic arguments. But anyway, good to see you, Mammal in chat, and Pogo, and Shoddy Snipes and Sayonara. Welcome to the stream.
The important distinction, however, is that Easyscape did not claim this as a fact.
Yes,
Rather, that it was
true.
a good
Okay.
possibility.
I should give Carl a chance. I should give him a chance because he's said what I just said.
I will need to point out that despite Easyscape thanking me in the description of this video, which people have then used to falsely claim that I went after Apollo Legend in some way, I had absolutely no input on anything he said.
Wait, hold on. The timeline is getting very confusing. So Carl made a video in 2021, referred to as the offending video by Judge Barlow. Okay. In 2021, but then he just referenced an Easyscape video from 2020 in which Easyscape thanked Carl and Ursat's cats for helping him with the research in the video. What? Why is it printed? Because I prefer hard copies. I also have this. I also printed this, which will be revealed in an upcoming video. I also have this printed. This came out recently. We found the free ebook, so there's plenty of content coming down the pipeline about Procho now. I'm very confused about the timeline here. This was October 2020. This is before he made the video. I don't
For Apollo Legend
I don't
in some
understand.
way, I had absolutely no input.
Yeah. Well, I am playing this on VLC. I've already archived the video just in case he tries to take it down to fix something. I'll have the very first upload. Yeah, you gotta archive. You gotta make copies. You gotta make copies. You gotta get hard copies. You gotta print every frame of the video, as Glover says very funnily. Glover always with a great joke. All right, let's continue. I'm a little confused. Let's see if Carl explains.
Regarding Apollo Legend, and I had no idea what he was going to say prior to the video's release. I had only simply provided him with some legal documents and information regarding the Todd Rogers and Billy Mitchell lawsuits. And EasyScape proactively reached out to me and allowed me to post his statement confirming this was the case. With all of the corroborating evidence I had, I believed at that time that Apollo Legend did pay Billy Mitchell money in the settlement.
The basis of that belief is laughable. Is laughable. You can't see the Minecraft gameplay, Mammal? Well, it's electrifying. Let me tell you. He just found a sand temple or whatever the fuck they're called.
This was not something that I merely fabricated or constructed myself. In Apollo Legends goodbye video, which I won't replay.
Well, no one's claiming. Is anyone claiming that Carl invented this claim? That's like ridiculous. You know, no one's saying that Carl just sort of invented it out of his own mind. We're saying that he said it without any verification that it's true. We don't think that Carl made up the lie. Anyway, maybe some people do, so he has to explain.
He confirmed that he had health issues and that he had unpaid debts which he did not want to pass on to his estate. And he asked people to donate to his GoFundMe because of this. As a fellow YouTuber, I also know how much money Apollo was making.
I don't like how Carl says YouTuber. He's Australian. He should be saying YouTuber. But he says YouTuber.
On his Billy videos, which was money that he would also stop making due to having to remove these videos from his channel. And of course, you don't need to be sued to realize that being sued is an extremely stressful thing. And especially now after being sued myself, I can only say that you cannot imagine the stress this puts on you until it happens. Apollo.
Sue me, Carl. I want to know. I need to know how stressful it is. I can never understand. I can't even comprehend. There's this little thing called empathy. I don't have it. I need to know. I need to be sued so I can know just how stressful it is. Like, yeah, no shit, it's stressful, dipshit. Anyway, that's needlessly hateful. I'm being needlessly hateful.
Even admitted this in a Discord message.
I apologize.
I assume that the other things he's referring to.
Oh, hold on, let me read this. I saw a video from Dwayne Richard. What is this message? This is crazy. I'm dealing with it for you. Emperor Triforce Game Master is gonna deal with that lawsuit for you. Don't worry about it, Apollo. Then Apollo says, okay, the lawsuit raises stress, but he's got a lot else going on, so thanks.
Included his health issues. To be clear though, I never said Billy caused Apollo's suicide, nor have I ever believed that. No one is responsible for Apollo's decision other than Apollo. If you read my words carefully, I simply laid out a sequence of events that happened one after another. I said there was a...
Carl. That argument is not going to hold up in court, and I believe it didn't. I believe he made similar arguments. Again, I haven't read the full verdict, but Carl, come on. The imputation and the implication is pretty clear. Yeah, apparently, so I saw a thing where Carl was like waiting to get like verification from his lawyers that it's okay to post this. Like he finished this, I don't know, a couple days ago, and he sent it to his lawyer. His lawyers, I guess M. DeWard was his lawyer in the verdict video. And he was like just waiting to hear back from his lawyers that it was okay to post. So apparently he got the okay at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's 4 a.m. in the morning in Australia. So I I don't know. I don't understand. But I mean, I guess you know. I guess he got it this afternoon, and he scheduled it for now. Hold on, we got a lot of chat, so I'm gonna read chat for a sec. But yeah. Anyway. Okay, so we have Alka in chat just showing the offending statement, which is it's referred to as the offending statement. Alka's just copying that whole thing, which I just read. I thought Alka had a big analysis of the situation, but no, it was just showing the offending statement, which we all know because we've all printed and read the verdict, and we've all watched the videos, the 4,000 videos that have been made about this. Yeah, like, okay, so Alka's saying that, like, Carl's argument is that, you know, because he said that, like, because he did mention all this other stuff, it's like, you know, I'm not saying that Billy Mitchell caused it, because I mentioned all this other stuff, you know, and I was just laying out the sequence of events that all this other stuff happened. All the Billy Mitchell stuff happened, and then everything was too much for him and he killed himself. I was just laying out a sequence of events. But it's like you chose there were other things happened in that sequence of events. You could add other things. Also, he went to the store and he bought some milk and then he got home and he realized it was expired. He'd been scammed. And that set him off the edge. Like, you know, like other things happened. You chose these specific events and you presented them in this sequence. You chose these specific things that happened for a reason. And the reason was to imply that Billy Mitchell's lawsuit, which you describe as frivolous, so then it's like pathetic and stupid to do this lawsuit. You know, obviously, if the lawsuit weren't frivolous, if Apollo Legend deserved to be sued, it wouldn't be a problem, you know? He deserved it. He deserved to be sued. But because the lawsuit's frivolous, Billy Mitchell unjustly exacerbated the horror-scape that was Apollo Legend's life, which ultimately led to his suicide. Like, it's very clear that that's the implication, that that's what Carl is saying in his offending statement. So this argument that he was just laying out a sequence of events is total nonsense. But anyway, let's go on.
Lawsuit, Apollo settled, he was in debt, though I was incorrect about the cause of the debt, he needed extra work, and he had ongoing health issues. Then I said this was all too much of a burden, and he ultimately took his own life. Implying
that if the lawsuit weren't there, he might have been able to shoulder the burden. You know, that's the implication of that. That's what that whole paragraph means. This all became too much. Yeah, he had all these other problems, but like then this added onto that, you know. And did it. Mammal, you're not familiar with Minecraft? Well, right now Carl is in hell, which I think is an apt analogy.
I deliberately used words like and but to connect these events. I didn't use words like because or as a result of.
Yeah, it's implied. It's implied by the structure of the paragraph. You don't have to use the words because, you know. So this is why I was a little confused by Alka's description. Alka jumped ahead. Alka's already seen the video clearly. And had already heard this argument. I hadn't heard it yet because I haven't seen this. This is my live first reaction.
I was also very careful to mention Apollo's pre-existing health issues as a major factor. When I said this was all too much, I was clearly referring to multiple things together. The debt, the extra work, and his health issues, all simply as existing, not as causative factors. I never...
What? I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense.
Mitchell's lawsuit caused or could have caused Apollo's death. Any connection someone might draw between the lawsuit and Apollo's passing goes beyond what I actually said.
Oh yeah, it's our fault, Carl. It's our fault. Everybody got that impression. It's our fault that there were 400 comments saying Apollo, Billy killed Apollo, which are big segment. There's a big thing here. I haven't gotten to this part of my reading yet, but there's a big page of comments saying like he killed Apollo. He killed Apollo. There's like hundreds of these. They're not all here. There's only like 15 in the actual verdict here, but there were hundreds. There were like 300 or something. I mean, okay, so I don't know if I should get chat on screen. I probably should. Yeah, so Glover says, this argument only makes sense if Carl didn't put all of this in a video trashing Billy. True, you know, the statement on its own, you could maybe make this argument and you could maybe convince someone. But it's also in a video specifically just, like, pounding Billy Mitchell for 25 minutes. So Alka has made a not-so-good point. That comments shouldn't be taken as concrete evidence because Billy's lawyers could have left the comments. You know, it could be some grand conspiracy to frame Carl, that they took a statement that everyone obviously knew that Carl was just laying out a dispassionate sequence of events. You know, he was just reporting the facts of life. These are just things that happened in the world. And Billy Mitchell schemed to misinterpret it, and he made a bunch of sock puppet accounts to leave comments that are pretending to have derived this defamatory meaning from the statement. That's obviously ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So I think the comments are great evidence that the offending statement was regarded as what Billy Mitchell is claiming it is, and what the courts found that it is doing, which is saying he indirectly exacerbated Apollo Legends' issues and struggles with life that led to his suicide. I think, and Alga says, I think Carl's arguments are pretty bad here. Oh yeah, I would agree. We also have Mammal, who's very well known. For people who don't know, Mammal's very well known in the GoldenEye community. Very plays the game, but a very loyal viewer. Gives a lot of gift subs. Mammal's been basically masturbating in text the whole time here, as an anti-Carl sentiment. So I appreciate it, Mammal. Implying that Carl has been caught wanking here, as a Tism fan might say, and I mean Tism the band, not autism. Anyway, I'm gonna get chat on screen. I think I'll get chat on screen. Why not? Why not? Why the heck not? But I'll need a moment to do that, because this will, for the people in the stream, this will be going up on YouTube. And for the people on YouTube, I decided last minute I'd stream this, because why not? That's more fun. And why not just make this video even longer, so we can have 40 hours of Carl content? Why the fuck not? I've forgotten what is, when you have Twitch, Mammal, I will not show your dick on stream, but I will show your ramblings into the thing. What type of, it's a browser, isn't it? When you integrate Streamlabs, the OBS element is a browser, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we got chat on stream. Fantastic. Okay, so now you guys can see what I'm reacting to. All right. All right, we got another GoldenEye player, Flicker Form, here to enjoy the reaction. Let's continue. I've already had a grand old time deconstructing these terrible arguments. Let's continue.
I was extremely careful, though obviously not careful enough, not...
Like, Carl actually thought about this. Like, Carl actually sat down as he was penning as he was penning the offending paragraph. He sat down and he thought about it. It's like, I got to be really careful here. I'm gonna be really specific to use these particular words because I really don't want people to think I'm saying Billy Mitchell caused Apollo's suicide. So I'm gonna be really, really careful with my language. When in reality, he just shat out some thoughts onto a page and then read them to narrate his video, like I'm doing right now. There's no way he put as much thought into the statement as he's about to imply he did. It's an absurd notion.
make that claim, because I know the difference between describing a sequence of events and assigning blame for a tragedy. I did, however, get one statement of fact wrong, and trust me...
That's the other thing. Yeah, there was factual incorrectness within his dispassionate, that's my word, not his, laying out of a sequence of events.
I learned that lesson immediately. Ever since this very video back in 2021, and because of
He better mention the Keemstar DMs. I'm going to be so mad if he doesn't mention the Keemstar DMs.
the resulting lawsuit, I have always endeavored to be much more careful about what I say. And if I do say something factual, I always try to ensure that I have ample concrete evidence to support it. On the 4th of June...
Yes, here we go. Keemstar. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah, having FaceTime phone calls with Keemstar. Damn. Awesome. That's fucking awesome. Let's go. Yeah, he should put GoldenEye gameplay. He should have done a... He's so good at GoldenEye, you know, he should have gotten I don't know, the essay world record. I've watched a couple. I've watched two now. I've watched two David Clemens essay runs. And they're great. I'd much rather be watching a David Clemens essay run right now while hearing Carl give these terrible arguments. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back a bit before we get to this Keemstar thing. I gotta just hear what he said again.
Something factual, I always try to ensure that I have ample concrete evidence to support it.
Ah, yes, better evidence than a totally unverified Redditor with no apparent connection to anything.
On the 4th of June 2021, I was contacted by Keemstar.
Would that harm GoldenEye? No. Is this harming Minecraft? You're like, well, no. Also, who cares? Who gives a shit? Anyway. Okay, so here's the Keemstar DMs. So they're DMing. Keemstar has got to set a few things straight. So, apparently, according to the verdict, and this was in the verdict video, Judge Barlow said this. Apparently, and I guess Carl will explain this, but let me just beat him to the punch here. So, Keemstar was talking with Billy Mitchell. They were communicating, and Keemstar learned that there was no monetary settlement because Keemstar heard directly from Billy Mitchell, a first source. You could argue that Billy Mitchell could be lying, but this is all stuff that will eventually be verifiable because you can look at court records. So he told Keemstar the truth about the verdict, that the Apollo Legend verdict, that there was no money required for the settlement. And now Keemstar's going to set Carl straight. On FaceTime. I didn't know it was FaceTime. I thought it was just DMs. This is very... I wish they recorded it. We could see them talking. I would love to see Keemstar and Carl FaceTiming.
Paul advised me that Billy was very unhappy with the comment I made regarding the settlement, and that it was false. In response to this, I removed that section and...
Okay. Yes, this is all covered in the verdict. That he cut out a couple lines from the offending statement, specifically about the monetary settlement, but he didn't cut out the whole statement. He left that in. He left the implication that the stress of the lawsuit exacerbated Apollo Legend's mental health and led to the suicide. I'd love for Carl to sue me. That'd be great. That'd be fucking great. I could start a GoFundMe and lose and steal all the money. I'm not. Carl didn't scam anyone. Okay. We don't know that. I'm not making that statement. Don't sue Carl. Don't sue me for saying you scammed people. I'm not saying you scammed anyone. As a joke. Just kidding. I don't think you scammed anyone. Yet. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Oh, good. I can escape to Dubai, and all it's gonna cost me is a damn 52, and I'll get you better than a tier 6. I'll get you a Depot SA 38. I can do that. That's not a big deal. That's pretty easy. Mammal, you're welcome. I don't know why you're saying see ya. I guess Mammal's leaving or not. I don't know. Whatever. Let me read this. So yeah, so he edited out the thing, but he left in the whole statement, and the whole meaning of the paragraph didn't really change when he took out the part about the settlement. Okay. Mammal's acting weird. Mammal, are you drunk? What time is it in France? Mammal's acting insane. Okay. Yeah, this was crazy. What I think what's oh good, Mammal is drunk. I think what's not getting enough. I will. I think what's not getting enough attention, and we can see it in this DM here, is that Carl reached out to Apollo Legends' brother to like try and verify this fucking statement from Keemstar, which is like so egregious and horrible and dirty and gross. I think like that might be the worst thing he's ever done in his life. That might be the worst thing Carl has done in his life. Is contacting Apollo Legends family members to fucking can you give me details on the settlement? I'm a YouTuber. I make videos about Billy Mitchell and I need to make sure my Billy Mitchell facts are correct. I'm from Brisbane. Can you tell me about the settlement? I know your brother killed himself. Can you tell me about the settlement? I don't know why he became like a wog, but anyway. I want to read this before we continue the video. So I'll be confirming from his brother also. If his brother backs up this or Mitchell provides any concrete evidence I was wrong, I'll make a statement about it. Which he hid in the end of some video, not even about Billy Mitchell. If I have nothing concrete, I'll just leave the video as edited out and won't mention it anywhere. Okay. So he's tentatively taking it out, but unless he gets proof that he was wrong, he's not going to mention it. He's just going to quietly remove it. And the Carl says he's always willing to correct himself if proven wrong. So far, this video has not been that, by the way. I think he's been proven wrong time and time again, and he's not really copping to it. This is kind of what I expected from Carl. I hoped for more. I hoped he would kind of just fall on the sword, go, I'm so sorry. You guys are right. It was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Instead, he's kind of trying to justify his actions, which they're unjustifiable, in my opinion. Wait, talking about Dream. All right, let's keep going.
And that I would make a retraction if Apollo's brother or Billy provides evidence that the claim was false. I then sent Apollo's brother an email explaining the situation.
So disgusting. Let's read this. Like, put yourself in this guy's shoes. Now, I don't know Apollo Legends' brother. Maybe I'm way off base in how disgusting this is. I'm imagining sort of a generic person, right? I'm imagining like, what if I killed myself and it was my brother, you know, or just sort of like a normal person, you know. I don't have all the context. Maybe Apollo Legends' brother is like typing all day, commenting about Apollo Legend, going like maybe he's like super open to talking about it, and he's like actively out in the public talking about the suicide. I don't know that. I didn't try and look it up or anything. I didn't do any research. If that's the case, then fine. Sending an email about this is okay. But if it's just a normal person who doesn't really have an online presence, to like try and reach out to them and email them is horrifyingly disgusting. Imagine getting this email. This is like what? This is like, do I have the date of the goodbye video? It was like late 2020, right? 30th of December. This is 6 months later. This is 6 months after he killed himself. And you get this email from Carl Jobst. Hi Jesse, hope you're well. Just letting you know the footage of Ben has been removed from my video. I like how Carl calls him by his actual name. And yet in the verdict, the judge is like, out of respect, I'm going to refer to him as Apollo Legend. Hello, you Apollo Legend. Hope you're well. Also, I was hoping you wouldn't mind confirming something for me. In the video, I mentioned that as part of Ben's settlement with Billy, he was required to pay money. I received this information from a few sources. Reddit user Ursat's Cats and an Easyscape video, I guess, where he said probably there's a decent chance or something. I received this information from a few sources, but not from Ben directly. He's dead. Billy is threatening to sue me about this, claiming that I provided wrong information. That's not what he's claiming. That's not the claim, by the way. The claim is not that he made factual errors in the statement. The claim was, the statement defames me because it makes me seem responsible by killing Apollo Legend through frivolous lawsuits. Like, this is like splitting hairs, really, that it's about the money part, whether that's true or not. But anyway, I really don't want to ever give out the wrong information. Do you know if money was exchanged? Carl.
And asked if he could confirm if my statement was incorrect. Several hours after I removed...
Yeah, actually, Glover makes a good point. This does seem like it's not the first email. This doesn't seem like it isn't like a dry email. Just letting you know the footage of Ben has been removed from my video. So, maybe what happened, again, speculation, not making any factual claims, but let me just lay out a sequence of events. Carl has a video that has footage of Apollo Legend in it. Carl gets an email from his brother saying, hey, can you take this fucking footage out of your fucking cock-sucking bullshit YouTube video, you piece of shit, fucking shit stain on society fucking YouTuber? Can you take the fucking footage of my dead brother out of it, please? Thanks. And then Carl responds, hey, yeah, sure. It's out. Absolutely, footage is out. By the way, can you give me the deets? Can you give me the skinny on the settlement? One possibility.
The statement from my video, Billy posted to his channel a response video. In it, he stated that my claim was wrong and that I was accusing him of murder.
Yeah, I agree with Carl. That's overstating it a little bit, but I am just judging that Carl's description of this response video is that. You know, I haven't watched this video. I should probably watch this video. But Carl just said, Billy released a reaction video where he... Let's listen to that again. So Carl's about to say something about Billy's reaction video. Now, I'm just going to accept that as a fairly, unbiased and accurate description, when really it might be Carl making a hyperbolic statement about it, a hyperbolic summary of it. I'm just going to accept the summary as if it were true, okay? Just for the purposes of this analysis.
Hours after I removed the statement from my video, Billy...
When in reality, Billy might have just said something more akin to what he claimed in his suit, you know, which was that you kind of defamed me by implying I was a contributing factor. But Carl, in his pithy way, says he accuses me of murdering Apollo Legend.
Posted to his channel.
I'm just going to
a
accept
response
that.
Video. In it, he stated that my claim was wrong and that I was accusing him of murder.
Yeah, accusing him of murder. I don't know if Billy would have used those words, used the word murder, accusing him of murder. I don't know. Haven't watched it. Not going to. Don't care. Let's continue.
May 26th.
I guess we get to watch it.
Video, downright loaded with false, defamatory statements. The most heinous.
True. As found by the court. So now, what Billy just said is fact. Is a legal fact. Because it was proven in court. Appeal pending.
Accusation related to Apollo's passing. In the video, Jobs outright states that I drove Apollo to suicide. In his words, he may as well have just said murder.
Several days later, I received
Okay. He did use the word murder. May as well have. There's some subtleties there. I don't think it's worth really deeply analyzing. Let's continue.
a concerns notice from Billy's lawyer. This is a legal document that you must send to someone before you sue them for defamation. It's the first step in the process. It needs to outline the words of which they complain, what they imply, and why they are false. I didn't take this seriously when I received it, because it wasn't the first concerns notice that Billy had ever sent me. A year earlier, Billy had sent me a concerns notice after I called him a cheater in a video about Guinness World Records. This was just after they reinstated his fake world records.
Is Carl stupid, man? I don't care. I don't care how many. What are these called? Concerns notices. I don't care how many fucking concerns notices Billy Mitchell sends you. I'm gonna read them and I'm gonna be taking him at least a little bit seriously. You know, this is a real person. You know, if I'm getting concerns notice from like some sort of like scam center coming out of Bangalore or whatever, and it's just like they send out 10 million of these things hoping to get money out of people, I'm going to ignore those. But this is a real person that you know and that you are constantly shitting on, sending you legal documents, and you're like, that's bullshit. It's just more bullshit. Fucking flip it out into the trash with all the magnets for local plumbers. It's all just junk mail. Boop, into the bin.
The concerns notice was ridiculous, as obviously Billy is a proven cheater and everyone knows this, and it falsely claimed that I implied he was a criminal because I suggested that he may have paid Guinness to reinstate his scores, even though paying Guinness to adjudicate world records is literally their business model. And during this time, Billy was suing multiple entities for telling the truth that he is a cheater. So there was no reason for me to believe that his second concerns notice regarding Apollo Legend was any more trustworthy, and I assumed it was completely bogus and an attempt to silence me, just like all of his other actions.
He better admit what a horrifying mistake that was, to sort of conflate the two. Oh man.
A couple of days after I received Billy's
What a shame.
notice regarding Apollo Legend, I re-edited my video to add back in my claims regarding the settlement.
It's so crazy, man. Why would you do that? It's just so nuts. It's the craziest part of this whole thing. The timeline here is so crazy. So, he makes the statement. Included in the statement, he says, Apollo had to pay Billy money, which was not true. Then he gets a message from Keemstar, and he based that on a Redditor, some Redditor post, some Reddit post. Then he gets a message, then David Keem gets on the horn, says, no, that's not true. That's factually false, the part about the money. So Carl takes that small part of the statement out. Then he gets a concerns notice saying, I'm going to sue you for defamation for this statement. And Carl's response to that is to reinstate the original statement, is to put that original statement that he now has every reason to believe is factually false. The re-uploading of the original, including the part about the money, is so nuts. Why the hell would you do that? Billy is escalating this issue. He's making it bigger and bigger. The first thing is kind of the biggest, right? He gets is it David or Daniel? I've only ever heard his name spoken by Wings of Redemption in a hate-filled rant, but he gets Keemstar on the horn. That's escalating. Then a concerns notice. So he's escalating this issue. Look here, listen, dude. Can't take this shit no more. It's Daniel Keem. Okay. I always get David's and Daniel's mixed up because in primary school, a little side story, in primary school, one of my best friends was called Daniel, and he had an older brother called David, who was one of my older brother's friends. So in my memory, I sometimes get them mixed up. So those two names are always like together, and I always mix them up. Anyway. So Keemstar, so like in response to things getting more blown out of proportion, Carl's decision making in his brain tells him, you know what? I'm getting sued for this statement. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put things I know to be factually false that make the statement even worse. I'm going to put them back in, even after specifically taking them out. I'm a genius. I'm very intelligent. My name is Carl Jobst. I'm a very intelligent person. I'm very intelligent. We're only 9 minutes into this video, by the way. We're like 30% of the way through this video, and I've been streaming for 45 minutes. I'm having fun, though. You guys having fun? I'm having fun.
Again, I believed them to be true, and my efforts to avoid...
No, you didn't. Why would he believe them to be true? Why would Keemstar lie to you? Why the fuck would Keemstar lie to you? Anyway.
legal action by taking them
Does the word of Daniel Keem mean nothing these days? Unbelievable.
down had failed. In the pinned comment of Billy's response video, he even said that removing the words or making a retraction would make no difference.
Okay. A reliable third... Read this. Update. Carl Jobst removed the allegations from his video. A reliable third party confirmed the illegitimacy of his allegation. That's Daniel Keem. I love Keemstar. How good's Keemstar? I'm currently unaware of any official retraction, however. Either way, that simply will not do. Can none of these fucking guys write a fucking English sentence, man? When I was going through Approacher Now, which, by the way, a little behind the scenes, I filmed, like, 3 different videos. Some were just like a few minutes long, but I've been talking about Approacher Now for like 2 hours, but right before the video dropped. Right before this video, the I Lost video dropped. And there are so many like fucking like weird like grammatical choices. And fucking Billy Mitchell fucking can't write a sentence either. Either way, that simply will not do. Come on, man. Yeah, but Billy basically says, whatever, the damage is done. Quietly removing it isn't good enough, obviously. And you know what? Especially when you quietly put it back.
Several
Wrong-headed.
days after I reinstated my claim, I received an email reply from Apollo Legend's brother.
He hasn't even got the message from the brother back. Like, in Carl's mind, like, okay, maybe Keemstar is wrong because Keemstar got it from Billy and Billy just lies because that's what Billy does, according to Carl. And I believe Carl thinks that Billy was just lying outrageously throughout the whole court case, and that the judge just believed Billy, and that's why he lost. I've seen him make that sort of argument. That's why he lost, because the judge believed that Billy wasn't lying. But that's not how the law works. That's not how judging works. The judge looked at the evidence. The evidence is what convinced him that the statement was defamatory. It doesn't matter whether he believes Billy Mitchell or not. Evidence doesn't require you to just have faith that a person is telling the truth. So it's sort of a nonsense thing. Maybe Carl is misspeaking when he says that. Maybe he means something else when he says the Carl believed Billy even though he was lying. Maybe he means something else. But if you take that sentence as it literally is, it's total nonsense. Anyway, so he puts it back up without even getting what he would consider, I believe, to be the absolute strongest evidence for whether this is true or not, the settlement for money. Before even waiting for that, he just says, fuck it, put it back up. Keemstar lied to me. Keemstar lied to me. I'm getting sued for it. Let's just put it back up. Who cares? I'm Carl. I'm smart.
He confirmed that originally Billy had...
I want to read this. It's been a busy week. Damn, son. Unfortunately, Ben really didn't talk about the lawsuit with Billy much, so I had to look through his files to find information on it since I was curious as well. From what I could tell by reading the settlement/dismissal agreement and chats on Discord, there was not any money transferred. Ben really didn't have any money to give, even if Billy had strong-armed him into that situation. At one point, they did try to get him to pay legal fees, which Ben was very upset about. He made it clear that he would not be sending Billy any money. They adjusted the settlement and he owed them nothing. It seemed Billy was mostly looking for justice to be done, and that his reputation and image be restored and the negative videos taken down.
had tried to get money from Apollo, but this greatly upset Apollo because he simply had no money to give. And ultimately, they adjusted the settlement, and in the final version, there was no money transferred. As soon as I received this email, I removed my claim from my video, and it has been gone ever since. After I removed the...
It's been gone ever since. It's like he's trying to sound American, because Americans really sort of a defining feature of the American accent compared to a British or an Australian one is that they really they're very intentionally pronounce every single syllable and letter in a word, every diphthong. Whereas Australians, we drop syllables everywhere, we skip over them, So it's very interesting to hear him say ever like that. Ever. That's how you say it. Ever. Ever. It's like EVA. Ever. Anyway. Frustrating. Be yourself. Just be yourself, Carl.
claim from my video, we responded to Billy's lawyers advising them that the segment was removed and that I would be issuing a retraction. Billy said this was not sufficient, and in the response from Billy's lawyer, they stated that proceedings were necessary. Despite this, I still planned on releasing a retraction, and in my video, the greatest feat in...
As you should. This is another thing, It's just it's hard to give Carl credit for being this sort of conniving, but it really seems like he went out of his way to sort of technically do everything correctly. I took it down and then I issued a statement of retraction, but in reality tried to obscure it as much as possible, so you can say, oh, I did it. Technically I did it. But the meaning and the weight of doing it has been greatly diminished by how he did it. Anyway, yeah. So he hides it in the fucking back end of some fucking Dark Souls video. Which, who even cares? 2.7 million people apparently. Dark Souls no hit. Okay, great. Do we need to hear Carl talking for 30 minutes about a Dark Souls no hit run?
Video game history, I included this segment at the end. Now, before I finish the video, I would like to take this opportunity to correct something that I said in a previous video. Back in May, I talked about...
Put it in a video with Billy in the fucking thumbnail or title. If he'd done that, he might have won the case, honestly.
The new lawsuits filed by Todd Rogers and Billy Mitchell.
Or he might have at least avoided aggravated damages.
In that video, I made
well.
the claim that Apollo Legend paid money to Billy Mitchell as part of their settlement. I would never make such a claim unless I had very good evidence to support my position. In response to this, Billy Mitchell released a video accusing me of lying and claimed that no money was exchanged. He didn't provide any evidence to back up this claim, nor did he attempt to get in contact with me to clear up any misinformation I may have had. However, I did investigate further as I would never want to provide false information to my viewers. I reached out to a member of Apollo's family who graciously agreed to clarify some details. According to them, despite Mitchell's best efforts,
Family member. Ugh.
Apollo Legend would not pay any money, and in the final version of the settlement, there was no clause indicating that he was required.
Again, like, this whole thing, like, we're really getting into the weeds about the money part, when it's really a small part of the statement, the offending statement. You know, it's like if he can prove that he was justified in including that part of the statement, it makes the statement okay. When it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It's attacking Billy's character in a way that, you know, is far above and beyond anything he's, like, had before.
Therefore, the statement I made in that video was almost...
Yeah. Well, I have to correct you there, Gus. This is the video from 2021. So he's happy to say, yeah, it was his brother, you know. But he was concealing it originally. So that's why we have that funny disconnect.
I sincerely apologize for providing false information, and no matter what kind of relationship I have with
Look at Billy Mitchell. Look at his fucking beautiful eyes, man.
Mitchell, I do not believe...
Oh my god. Dude, you can look at the fucking... You can see the fucking hairs on his hand.
...to lie or mislead. Mitchell also claimed...
Compared to this blurry mess.
...that I was accusing him of murder. This is certainly not the case. I do have my opinion regarding the impact of the settlement on Apollo's decision, but ultimately, it was no one's responsibility but his own. The only...
He's basically just doubled down. He basically just made the statement again. In the retraction, he basically just says it again. Sure, he's clarifying a little bit, he's softening a little bit, but again, he's like, I have my beliefs that, yeah, he probably did contribute a little bit. He basically just said that in the retraction. In the retraction, he's, like, basically reinforcing, like, the critical defamatory element of the fucking statement. I guess he also added that, you know, it's just my opinion as well. Oh my god, look at WQ. Look at WQ. Apollo Legend was so much better than fucking Card Jobs, man. At making this kind of content. That's so sad. Look, like, these videos were so good. The fucking goat, man. The fucking goat. The goat. You know, because Carl basically, like, filled the void that Apollo left, you know. In terms of his size and, like, the topics of his content, Apollo Legend was the #1 at this, and then now Carl has taken that taken that position, you know. There are other creators that talk about speedrunning that are bigger than Carl and better, if I may be so bold, like Summoning Salt. But they fill a different sort of like niche, I think. But Carl is pretty much, it's almost one-to-one Carl's content with what Apollo Legend was doing. So it's a shame that we went from this beautiful channel, all of these videos, amazing. I watched every single one of them right as they dropped, and they were so good. So good. Now, the kids today, you know, this was what, 7 years ago? Now, young men in their early 20s have to make do with Carl Jobst videos. It's grim. It's grim out there.
The reason I mentioned it in that video was because I felt like it was important to let you know what happened, as I know many of you enjoyed his videos. My standard of evidence has changed dramatically since I made this original claim, so of course now I disagree with my statement that I had very good evidence. But I was just trying
No
to say
shit.
that I didn't just make this up out of nowhere. And I didn't consider Billy's legal threat against me as him trying to get in contact with me, which is why I said that he didn't. After I released my retraction, my lawyers contacted Billy's lawyer to let them know, though we never heard back. I've heard a lot of people say that I never made a retraction, or never attempted to correct the record, or was trying to hide my retraction, and that if only I had just made a retraction, this entire thing would have been avoided. But
Well,
that's
maybe.
not the case.
It might have. And maybe not avoided, but you might have won the case, Carl, had you not concealed the retraction in such a way. He buried it in some shit Dark Souls video that probably underperformed compared to most of his videos. And had you never put the fucking statement back up. Ugh. Drama was the downfall. It doesn't have to be, though. I don't believe it has to be. I don't think inherently drama has to be the downfall. Oh my god, is that the Kev B? Holy shit, man. It has been a hot minute. Yeah. It's, yeah, I've had similar experiences where I've told people that I speedrun, and then they're like, oh yeah, I watch speedrun stuff on YouTube. Do you know Carl Jobst? It's like, yes, I know Carl Jobst. I almost know him personally. Almost. Not really. Yeah, like, I remember I explained all of this to someone. If any of you guys remember the, when I was doing these live shows where I was playing GoldenEye, and there was a guy playing the drums. I explained the whole thing to him once when he like first like thought of like doing first thought of doing this idea. We're at a bar, and I'm explaining like why I like dislike Carl to him at this bar. I just felt like such a fucking schizo freak. Those are rad. We're doing another one. We're doing so this is very early days, but it is booked. The venue is booked. We're gonna be doing like we're gonna like have the venue the whole day, from like 2 p.m. until close. We're gonna like be allowed to like do sort of shit. So like we're gonna have like 8 hours, you know. So obviously the show itself is only like an hour and a half, and so we're gonna have I mean, we're still just like thinking of ideas. If you have any ideas for what you would do with like GoldenEye set up at a bar, like we're thinking like we maybe teach people how to do an easy speed run. Maybe we put Perfect Dark in. We can get people a world record and get them Duel 3. You know. Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. Need a long, deep chat somehow with Luke. You need that, or I need that? Because I can do that. I know the guy. I'm friends with the guy. But, yeah. Luke will probably be involved. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Luke will be there. Cal will probably be there. Stale Beeflet should be there. The whole crew should be on deck, and that's going to be May 31st. So that's coming up. But yeah, if anyone's in Melbourne, it's kind of like out. It's not like in the city. It's not pretty central, but yeah, that's coming up. That's gonna be, and obviously we're gonna be trying to stream the whole thing. We had a lot of issues with the streaming in the first run of shows, but we're gonna try and figure out how to make that not so shitty. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Let me read this. Okay, so I don't know. Is this DeCal's lawyer? He's going to try and make sure the retraction is seen more than the original video. So his goal is to make sure that the video that has the retraction in it gets more views than the original video, which would prove that, you know, more people saw the retraction, so therefore it's okay because they saw the retraction. It had a bigger influence. This ignores the fact that watch time dramatically drops off. You know, most people don't watch the whole video. They click off after a certain point. So when you bury it at the end of an unrelated video, most people are going to go, I don't give a fuck about this. I just care about Dark Souls, and then close the video. So this is sort of nonsense, but I guess he's inquiring whether this would be a helpful point. Let me just go back a bit.
My retraction, and that if only I had just made a retraction, this entire thing would.
That's right. That's right. He's saying if he'd just done a retraction, the whole thing would be avoided. No, I think the lawsuit was always going to go ahead. That's what I believe. But he could have had a much stronger argument in court had he done this properly.
But that's just not the case. I wanted the retraction to get as many views as possible.
Bullshit.
I even said as much to my lawyers at the time, and ultimately it did. My retraction got far more views than the original video, but it was clear from Billy.
Oh, hold on. This is a little disingenuous. He almost got this. He almost slipped this past me. So, turn up the color vid 20%. I can do that. 20% of what? So I'm in VLC and it's currently at 40%. Should I bump it up to 60%? Would that be better? I'm glad that we got an hour in to this reaction and analysis. We're not even halfway through the video. Alright, I bumped up Carl. Okay, so this is a little disingenuous. He tried to slip a little thing by us here. So, if you look at this, he's claiming that he tried to make sure the reaction got more views than the original video. Right? That's his claim. Now, let's ignore the fact that he put it at the end of a video unrelated to Billy Mitchell. And that the audiences for those two videos are going to be drastically different. Since most people watch videos not because they're subscribed to someone, they just watch them based on recommendations, right? That's every fucking YouTuber always says it. Only 5% of my viewers are subscribed, so be sure to subscribe. No one subscribes anymore. People just watch recommended videos, right? The almighty algorithm. Exactly. Welcome to the stream viewers. So, let's ignore that. Let's ignore the fact that watch time drops off dramatically, that people click off the video before the end. So, let's ignore all of those factors and just accept that the raw view count on the video is what's important here, okay? Even if you accept that, Carl posts this screenshot. I gotta move my webcam. Carl posts this screenshot, right? Carl posts this screenshot of the video where he makes the retraction. And it has, you can see it has 2.7 million views 3 years ago, right? And so he doesn't post a screenshot of the video that has the offending statement. But he says down here, the original video had 500k views before the incorrect information was removed. So, his argument is that because this Dark Souls video in 3 years has amassed 2.7 million views, that's more views than the original video, which only had 500k views before I took out the offending statement. That's very disingenuous. That's very disingenuous, because, like, he set, like, an end point where his original video can no longer accumulate views, but he hasn't for this video that he's using to make this argument. You know, this can grow forever, you know. If he takes the screenshot 10 years from now, this could say 15 million views, right? So I think it's a little disingenuous to sort of, like, compare these two numbers. You can't really compare them. You need to set, like, a comparable, like, time period. How many views did this get in a comparable time period? You know. And then let's add in all those other problems that I already mentioned about different people are going to be viewing this compared to his original video. You know, this isn't his audience that watches for his Billy Mitchell stuff. Obviously, there's going to be overlap, maybe a lot of overlap, but there's going to be people that are just here for the Dark Souls. So he's created content that attracts a different set of viewers. And then, you know, and then he's put it right at the end, and it's unrelated, and watch time drops off, all this other shit. So, yeah, as Alka says, you know, people stop watching. When the credits roll, people turn it off. And so, when the bit about Dark Souls is over, they turn it off, click something else. Personally, I always, like, watch to the very end, personally, but that's just me.
Far more views than the original video, but it was clear from Billy even before I made the retraction that it wasn't going to affect his actions in any way. Then, in September 2021, Billy filed his lawsuit against me. Those are the events that led up to the lawsuit, but if the lawsuit was apparently just about my claim about the Apollo Legends settlement, then why did many people believe that it was about allegations of cheating? There are multiple reasons, and yes, I am one of them, but it wasn't just my YouTube audience who thought that. It was even...
Okay, so Carl's going to address the thing that everyone thought this was about cheating. Because in every single video, he never mentioned Apollo Legend, and he just mentioned cheating. Yeah, that's the other thing. He could have tweeted about it, and apparently he never did. He could have made a statement in his Discord, which would obviously have had a very narrow scope, but would have been something. There were so many more things that he could have done, probably should have done, and probably if you were really thinking about it carefully, you would have done. So yeah, he made so many videos, and he's, you know, and so now he's going to address that. It looks like he's starting off by saying that he was partly responsible, but so was the Daily Mail, because, so he was partly responsible for that impression, but because it wasn't just his YouTube audience, that means he wasn't solely responsible for that impression. But it's like that's completely a nonsense argument, because he's really the only source for information about the lawsuit. It all stems from him. It all comes from him. Like, Billy Mitchell's making small statements about it, but for the most part, all public information about this lawsuit stems from him. It all comes from him. So it doesn't matter that people outside of YouTube also believed this. because they got it from you. You're the only source for the information. And so if A. James for the Daily Mail Australia got it from talking to someone else, well, but if you track it back, it will come back to Carl making 1,000 videos about it.
News outlets. In fact, they were playing segments on national news about how Billy was suing me for cheating.
A bitter war of Donkey Kong has...
Okay, so, wait, hold on. Nine News fucked something up? No way, dude. No way. I mean, this is an old, sort of tired thing. Everyone's probably heard this before, but I'm going to repeat it here. If you've ever seen a news story about something that you are intimately familiar with, because you have sex with it, right? Whenever you see a news story on the nightly news, particularly like a news program like this, it happens in written text as well, but particularly when you're watching a news show, if it's something you know very well, you know the truth, you were there, or you know the topic to an expert degree, you'll notice that the news fucks up so many things. They get so many things like slightly wrong and a lot of things like completely wrong. They get all these things sort of way off and wrong, right? This fucking 9 News thing and all these fucking things are blocking the chat. Hold on. It's always like wrong. But then when you watch news segments about things you don't know about, you just accept that it's true. Even though in your experience, whenever you watch the news and it's something that you know about, they're always making mistakes. They're always wrong. So it's like the news, sucks. Journalists suck. Reporters suck. They are constantly making mistakes because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But they don't know anything about anything. So, this notion that, because the news said the lawsuit was about cheating, that's why everyone thought it was about cheating. It's because 9 News fucked it up. Well, 9 News got it from you. They made the story because you made that implication. And furthermore, who the fuck watches 9 News? Who the fuck? Dude, of the people that this is relevant to, this story only affects, Billy Mitchell is only known by, gamers, and so Billy's reputation only matters with gamers. So this idea that, the news gave people the wrong idea, nobody who knows about Billy Mitchell is watching the fucking 9 News. That's fucking absurd. And again, the news is wrong because you gave them the ideas. Anyway, let me read chat. I missed some chat. Okay, alright, some funny chats there. I'm not gonna bother repeating them. There's some good stuff there. Yeah. Yeah, he could have easily just said, I don't know if he added in his opinion, if that would have been enough, but don't worry, this will be all on YouTube. This is way longer than I thought it would be, which tends to happen, I find, with all these videos. We're not even halfway, so this might be a 3-hour video. Anyway, let's just move on. This argument he's about to make is moronic, in my opinion. Ooh, we're on OBS.
exploded, with controversy over a high score making it all the way to a Queensland courtroom. An American video game champion is suing a Brisbane YouTuber over cheating claims.
Notice how she said YouTuber? This is an Australian woman. She pronounced it tuba. Fuck's Carl doing? Tuba. Trying to pretend to be American even though it's impossible with his voice.
And they didn't think that because I told them or because
Yeah, not directly.
they watch my videos. They ran that story because of the arguments that were being made during the lawsuit and the nature of the pleadings. In Australian defamation, you must look at the entire publication. If I publish a video, Billy doesn't get to just extract a single paragraph and ignore everything else. In the video where I made those claims about the Apollo settlement,
I mean... If it's relevant, sure, you can't just totally dismiss it. But the fucking retraction was in a fucking 30-minute video about Dark Souls. What, he has to include the entire 30-minute transcript about the Dark Souls thing to fully contextualize the retraction? That's a little silly, but
I
whatever.
also claimed that Billy was exposed for cheating. I claimed that he was banned for cheating. I said that he abuses the legal system to force people to acknowledge his video game scores. And I said that he expressed joy at the thought of Apollo Legends' death. Because he did. I mean, I even showed in that same video text...
How many times is he going to make this fucking argument? It's like he can't go 3 minutes without bringing up that Billy Mitchell cheated. It's like he can't help himself. He has to just constantly mention it. And the fact that he cheated and it's also a true fact that he cheated somehow makes everything else he said okay. He cannot help himself. I wish Carl would have given me a place to put chat better. It's like he can't help but constantly make this argument like it affects anything. The fact that he said all these things and they're all true, I'm not even sure that they're true. But let's just accept that they are for the sake of argument. That doesn't change anything. It doesn't change that he made these imputations and that they were believed and accepted by the public. Yeah, and I mean, private messages where you feel free to express some sort of dark and perhaps taboo thoughts you have. I don't see this as damning in any way, you know. In many ways, Apollo really fucked up this guy's life, you know. He now has to shift his persona to be I'm the greatest gamer in the world to now I'm this heel, you know. Not only was I a heel, now I'm also I have to be this fraud as well. That's now part of my public persona that I do as my job, really. He very much disrupted Billy Mitchell's life. Now, in the end, it probably helped Billy in the long run. It probably made him more money. But, you know, at the time, it's just well, fuck. Everything's collapsing around me because of this fucking kid. This stupid fucking kid. This stupid YouTuber. You know? So, I can understand, why you would feel this way. And why you might express this notion in a very private message to a friend, you know. I don't think this like really changes anything, in my opinion. It doesn't make Carl's statements that imply that he was a contributing factor like any less damaging, in my opinion.
Messages where Billy is
But he's going to keep wheeling it out constantly because it makes Billy look bad. And the worse he makes Billy look, the better he looks because they're in direct opposition. Okay.
said he would try his hardest not to smile and giggle.
Yeah. Only I'm allowed to have intrusive thoughts. If my text leak, I'd be in Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. Like, I'd be, you know, if everything I had ever said in private was broadcast on the news or put in a big YouTube video for millions of people to watch, see ya. I'm out. Out skis. You never see me again. Nah, that's not true. I'd stay and fight. But, yeah, I'd be done. They would take me off the elite rankings. I'd be gone, folks. Alright, let's continue.
If Apollo Legend was actually dead. So as part of Australian defamation law, there is a concept known as contextual truth. And this was one of my defenses. My defense states that because I made those other claims that both hurt Billy's reputation and were true, Billy was harmed anyway, and the words he complained of didn't harm him any more than he otherwise would have been. And in response to these other claims, Billy denied them all. He denied that he was exposed for cheating, he denied that he was banned by Twin Galaxies, he denied that he abuses the legal system, and he denied that he expressed joy at the thought of Apollo Legend's death. And because he denied those extra claims, the breadth of arguments during the lawsuit expanded to include those as well. And the media evidently latched onto the cheating claims, because Billy was denying those, and that was his main reputation. So on one hand, the reason Billy originally...
There he is. There's our hero. Okay. So this is what I mean about, like, Carl seems like sort of weaseling technicalities to make his position technically true, but it sidesteps, like, the primary, like, contention, you know. Yeah, so there were a lot of statements he made there. He made the argument that since his video in its entirety had already destroyed his reputation with true statements, there was nothing left to destroy with further statements that were not true. I mean, it's basically what that argument is saying, is that even if that final statement wasn't true, it's okay because all the true statements had destroyed him. There was nothing but dust, which, you know, I mean, they're attacking, like, two different parts of Billy Mitchell. One is sort of attacking his, you know, it's like, he's not just a video game player, you know? Yeah. This would be a bad drinking game. Hey, I think it's kind of it is kind of a ridiculous argument. That there could possibly be a point where someone's reputation could be so bad that you can no longer damage it. I don't think that's, like, possible, and that's kind of the argument he's making. And he said that that's, like, a concept in Australian defamation law. I don't know if he's correctly using it. I would need to do more research, but I don't know if he's correctly understood that sort of mechanism of defense against defamation. I mean, I guess the judge agrees with me because it didn't land as a defense. So hold on, yeah. So I mean, the defense itself is kind of like whatever. I think it's bullshit, but more so than that, Carl is arguing here that because he introduced those elements as part of his defense, that made them relevant to the court case, which makes it justifiable to continually mention them always, every 20 seconds, to constantly mention that the lawsuit is about him cheating, when no, the lawsuit is primarily about the Apollo Legends statement, the offending statement. And Carl tried to use the fact that his statements about him cheating were true as a defense of the offending statement. Because Carl brought it in, that means it's about that. Like, no. Like, you can bring in anything you want as a defense. And there's even a screenshot of a tweet where Carl's like, Billy wants to make the lawsuit about Apollo Legend, but I'm not going to let him get away with that because I really want this to be about the cheating. Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm making it sound worse than it actually was. I'll see if I can find it, but he said something along those lines. And so the lawsuit, Billy Mitchell didn't bring any of that shit in. Carl brought all that shit in. So Billy Mitchell sues him for the defamatory statement about Apollo Legend. Then Carl's defense is, but I said you cheated at video games. And then Carl describes his lawsuit as, the lawsuit has a lot of elements about Billy cheating at video games. Like, you have aggressively manipulated the narrative there entirely to conceal the true nature of the suit, in my opinion. You know, so it's a ridiculous notion. You know, if Carl sues me for my reaction video, and then I bring in as a defense, well, Carl's a pickup artist, I can't then go, guys, Carl is suing me, and the lawsuit, it's all about Carl being a pickup artist. It's like, what? No, it isn't. And, you know, and then he says the thing about the cheating every video. He says it 100 fucking times. He says maybe once that it's about Apollo Legend. So, totally disingenuous. And that is further reinforced by the fact that Barlow, the judge, said, I have made no determination about whether Billy Mitchell cheated at video games. It's not like I haven't made a decision either way whether that's true or not, because it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't. It doesn't matter. This contextual truth, as Carl is using it, which, again, I'm not sure is correct. I would have to do more research, not a lawyer. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Anyway, welcome, Ace. Yeah, the truth will come out.
Legend, but on the other hand, because he doesn't get to just isolate that one paragraph...
He does, actually. He absolutely does. If everything else in the video is not relevant to his specific claim, he doesn't need to introduce it.
And ignore everything else in the video, the cheating allegations, along with other more serious claims, became involved. And ultimately,
because you brought them in.
The judge did agree that those other claims were made and that they were substantially true.
Yes. And it doesn't matter. Who cares? You're the one who's insisting that this is important. But Billy didn't think it was important, and the judge didn't think it was important. So you can't then go, well, I think it's important, so I'm going to keep saying it every 4 seconds. It just makes you look like an idiot.
Though in his opinion, they weren't more serious than the claim Billy was suing over, which I personally don't agree with. In my
Whoa, hold on. So the judge decides that the statements implying that Billy contributed to Apollo Legends' suicide, the judge decided that those were greater, those were more, like, damaging, you know, than the cheating stuff. which obviously they are. This is some kid's life. This is some kid's life. So I agree with the judge. Carl's gonna argue against that. Carl's gonna disagree with that. That really the cheating is more important. Carl.
Personal opinion, I think expressing joy over Apollo Legends' death is far worse than any implication that the eventual settlement of Billy's $1 million lawsuit against a young YouTuber who had major health issues.
Again, private DM during a very tumultuous time versus statements seen by hundreds of thousands of people as part of a series of 20 videos getting fucking 15 million views altogether, shitting on the guy. Do you see the distinction?
And no money, and who is just expressing the truth, might have contributed in some way to his decision to end his life. After Billy filed his lawsuit, I released a video in September 2021 titled I'm Being...
It's so funny. All these thumbnails are like this, where he's like sarcastically saying, it's over, I'm finished, I'm screwed, and they're all true. he was saying them ironically, but they're all true.
...sued and cancelled, where I announced that I was officially being sued. In that video, I specifically state that I'm not going to...
We haven't even gotten to the fucking GoFundMe yet, man. We're past the halfway point at the hour 36 mark, so we're getting there.
...talk about what the lawsuit was about. Normally, I'd give you a full breakdown of this kind of thing, but because this one involves me, I'm going to keep my cards a lot closer to my chest. What I will tell you is that I am being sued for defamation, and the amount of damages being sought is $450,000. I will definitely be giving you updates as we go, but I don't want to give out too many details or strategies before I use them in court. After this,
I don't want to... He's hoarding strats. Carl was hoarding strats. I will 100% be posting this to YouTube. Absolutely. I was about to upload part 1 of my Approacher Now videos, of which there are 2 parts. I was like about to do it. I had to stitch some things together in Adobe, and I was about to do that, export, and then upload. Because I got to go to work in like 4 hours. It's a public holiday today, but I'm going in. I'm going in. So I was right about to do that, and then this dropped 2 hours ago. So the Approacher Now series is on hold, but I think I will be going forward with it because this is embarrassing. This is not what he needed to do. He needed to just like he needed an unconditional surrender. He needed to just say, "I'm sorry. You were right. This is why I did it. I didn't want... I felt bad about the statement I made, and things were looking bad, so I tried to make things look better for me. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry about the GoFundMe. I'm very sorry. Here's all the money back. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." That's what he should have done. If he did that, I would not release the Approacher Now videos, although they are pretty good, especially part 2. Part 2's great. But, of course not. Of course, he did nothing wrong. He's the king. But yeah, he's hoarding strats. He was hoarding his defenses. He didn't want Billy to start using them. Get his own. He didn't want to get speed bullied by Billy. He didn't want to get argument bullied by what was Billy's lawyer's name? He was good. He's an Australian lawyer. P. Summers. He didn't want to get argument bullied by P. Summers.
Didn't talk about my lawsuit at all for over a year. And during this time, news outlets were posting articles about how Billy was suing me for cheating. Again, this wasn't because I said this. I wasn't even talking about my lawsuit at all. These articles were being written because reporters were reading the court documents where these issues were being argued. And I wasn't going to go out of...
By you. Again, by you. I keep moving the chat. Carl keeps putting fucking text everywhere.
my way to draw attention away from the cheating allegations either. Part of my defense was that Billy, more than anything else, has a reputation as a cheater. And when you think about Billy Mitchell, he...
Yes. Which is a dramatically different thing from, indirectly killing a kid. Judge. This man, everyone knows is a cheater. So, you know, no one's gonna think less of him if they think he, I don't know, frivolously litigated against a kid until he killed himself. It's like his reputation can't get worse than being a video game cheater. I don't know. I think he's just like, I mean, it's one of two things. He's either just trying to scramble for some sort of argument, because you got to make some argument, right? You got to defend yourself some way. You don't want to just give up and give Billy Mitchell $500,000. But, you know, so maybe he's just doing his best, or he's so broken from a lifetime of video games, except for a 6-year period, which was, there was a 6-year period where he was not playing video games. He was doing something else. You will find out all about that in part 2 of the Approach Her Now videos. His brain is so poisoned by speedrunning that to him that is the biggest thing in the world. That is the worst a person could be, a video game cheater. God, I wish Carl were a cheater. How good would that be? If it came out that Carl had spliced some GoldenEye runs. Oh, I think I would calm. Anyway.
People don't think about that one brief claim I made in a video in 2021 and then retracted. They just associate him with cheating and abusing the legal system. The fact that so many people didn't even know about the Apollo Legends settlement claim is evidence of that. Then in 2020...
Evidence of that. These fucking people, they don't speak English. It's evident of that. It's evidence of that. I need another Coke. He's taking it well. He's taking it like a champ. All right, I got another one. I got a share of Coke with a relative legend. Oh man, I'm working up a sweat in here. Okay. I need to go back. I need to hear that again.
2021 and then retracted. They just associate him with cheating and abusing the legal system. The fact that so many people didn't even know about the Apollo Legends settlement claim is evidence of that. Then in 2022, Billy sent me a third
It's like not... That's not how it works, Carl.
concerns notice because of a video I released in April.
Carl leaked his phone number in this video. Okay. Well, I downloaded this. This is VLC, so I have that. I can give Carl a call. I'm not gonna go looking for it because when I upload this, I will have to redact that now. So I will have to fucking put this in fucking Adobe. Thanks, Carl. I will go in and I'll blank it out for my upload of this. But thanks for letting me know. Carl can get rid of that without re-uploading, right? I don't really know how YouTube works. Because I really want to peep the comments on the video. I heard a rumor that he's getting trashed in the comments. Yeah, I'll put a black bar over it. I don't really know how to do a blur effect or anything. I'm just gonna add an image of a black bar and put it over it. Yeah, I'd hate for him to have to re-upload and then we get to lose all those first comments because I do want to check those out. But anyway, classic Carl. Yeah, this isn't how defamation works. Just because just because your defamatory statement isn't the very first thing people think about, when they hear the name Billy Mitchell, doesn't mean they don't still believe it about him. It doesn't mean it doesn't color their opinion of him. It doesn't mean that it might affect the way people treat him. This is a non-argument.
One of Billy's witnesses
Not an argument.
accusing him of extortion, and he followed that up with another lawsuit, of which he sent to my lawyers and told them he was going to file it against me. And then he sent me a fourth concerns notice, saying he intended to sue me because I put a 10-second AVGN meme in a video completely unrelated to Billy. Billy was now threatening
This
me
is a
with
legendary
Billy's
meme. I can't believe this
witnesses
meme made it into the vid. Hold on.
away from the cheating allegations either. Part of my defense was that Billy, more than anything else, has a reputation.
I like how he's just, like, he's going through the video. This whole video is basically him just telling us what his defenses were. And he's just going to still use those defenses, even though they got blown the fuck out. Even though a judge blew them the fuck out. They've already been blown the fuck out, but he's just going to repeat them here for everyone. For anyone who didn't watch the verdict, he's just going to repeat them here, and then he's going to admit how he got blown the fuck out on all of them. Nice one.
Reputation as a cheater. And when you think about Billy Mitchell, people don't think about that one brief claim I made in a video in 2021 and then retracted. They just associate him with cheating and abusing the legal system. The fact that so many people didn't even know about the Apollo Legends settlement claim is evidence of that. Then in 2022, Billy sent me a third concerns notice because of a video I released in April regarding one of Billy's witnesses accusing him of extortion. And
Okay, so this is where the idea of the second suit comes from. Apparently Carl made a video accusing Billy of extorting a witness in another trial. Hold on, I gotta read this.
he fo-
So this suit, Game Over, the video is called Game Over, disgraced gamer Billy Mitchell, accused of extortion. I guess, you know, he did say he's accused. You know, he didn't say he did it. He's just accused. Haven't watched the video. I'm going to assume that for the most part, Carl was careful and did say allegedly at the right times.
followed that up with another lawsuit, of which he sent to my lawyers and told them he was going to file it against him.
Okay, so yeah, he's got 4 weeks to try and come to an agreement, or the suit will go ahead.
To me. And then he sent me a fourth concerns notice.
Okay. Alright, so third concerns notice, threatening a second lawsuit about the video covering the claim that he extorted someone, and now we have a fourth one about the AVGN James Rolfe meme. Okay.
AVGN meme in a video
Now I've got it clear in my head. We can
unrelated to
continue.
Billy was now threatening me with 3 simultaneous lawsuits. The first one had already cost $200,000 in the first year alone. So if Billy filed the second and third
That's so nuts. I wonder if that's like a standard cost. I don't know anything about the pricing of Australian lawyers, but that seems like a lot. Seems like a lot for this. Yeah, anyway. I guess it's just how much it costs. I'll take his word for it.
lawsuits, there was
Now, I'm sure he's not doing this, but you could make an argument that if someone were just scamming people, which Carl is not doing, I don't believe he's doing. I genuinely don't. I genuinely do not believe he's doing that. But you could inflate your, you could claim that your fees are way higher than they actually are. So it looks like you need more support when you eventually launch a GoFundMe. Not saying Carl did that. I genuinely do not believe he did that. But it just occurred to me that you could do that. Maybe I'll do it one day. Can't wait for this clip to be in the lawsuit when I scam my viewers out of money in a GoFundMe. Not that Carl did that, nor would he ever. He's a good guy.
There's no way I could afford to defend myself. I had Billy Mitchell, the guy who had already sued multiple people for exposing his cheating and who had already sued me once before, telling me he was going to sue me 2 more times. And the reasons were insane. They were obvious abuses of the...
So the reasons are insane. This is actually an argument against what he did. It's an argument for what he did next being not very good. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I'm a man of the people. I am the working man's favorite content creator. My viewers are the proletariat. We aren't bougie Carl Jobst viewers over here. Anyway. So he's about to say that he's threatening 2 more lawsuits. We already have one that's actually going ahead. And now he sent me 2 more insane notices. Which is an argument that, like, he should have waited until these were actually lawsuits to launch a GoFundMe. Because they're so ridiculous. At least the fucking the James Rolfe meme one is ridiculous. Because they're so ridiculous, he should have thought these probably aren't going anywhere. These probably get dismissed pretty quick, if they ever became actual suits. The fact they're ridiculous, I think, is an argument for waiting. But he probably had no money to even continue his defense against the first one. So he probably just had to do it. I had to do it back against the wall.
Legal system. I felt I had no choice but to create a GoFundMe, and I advertised it in a video called Billy Mitchell Has Gone Insane and I Need Your Help. In that video, I clearly explain what is happening and why I'm creating the GoFundMe. Every single word I said in that video was true, and all of this is explained in the video. I understand that this was several years ago, so I don't blame anyone for not remembering the video or why I created the GoFundMe. But it wasn't in response to the first lawsuit that ultimately went to trial. It was because of Billy's constant legal threats against me, most of them having nothing to do with the Polo legend. This video got a lot of attention at the time. Even Moist Critical made a video about it.
This is one of the most baffling reasons for a lawsuit I think I've probably ever heard in general. Now, as I understand it, the second lawsuit hasn't been fully filed yet. Right now, it is still in the...
Hold on. Hold on. That's true. It's a good point. Hold on. We gotta stop for a sec. Yeah, this argument that the other GoFundMes are for the other lawsuits, I mean, it's all kind of the same, you know. And I don't know, I mean, let's watch the rest of the video, but unless he gave the money back all right, he's getting sued. The Apollo Legend lawsuit, this one, right? Then he gets 2 more concerns notices that are insane. So he goes, I now have to defend against another 2 lawsuits. I'm going to make a GoFundMe for lawsuit 2 and 3. That's his argument, right? That he did it for lawsuit 2 and 3. That's why he made the GoFundMe, because he thought he would have to defend against 2 more lawsuits. Once it became apparent that he was not facing 2 more lawsuits, did he return all the GoFundMe money? You can do that, right? You can say, you can return the money through GoFundMe. I assume they have mechanisms for doing that. Did he do that? Maybe he did. I don't know. But if he didn't, then what the fuck? Then what the fuck? It may as well have been just give me some money so I can win lawsuits against Billy Mitchell in general, which includes this first one, which he's already established people widely associated with being about cheating because you introduced cheating as your defense and then constantly talked about that defense in all your videos about it. That's why people are mad. If he doesn't have a response to that, then people should be mad. People should be mad, and he kind of owes them money. But now he owes Billy Mitchell so much money that, like, he kind of needs to not give that money back, or he's fucked. So, I don't know. Tough spot for Carl, but people have every right for their money back and to feel cheated. And that, as we know, according to Carl, being a cheater, that's the worst. That's the worst thing you can be. It's worse than manslaughter, apparently. But anyway, I paused here because what the fuck is going on? I haven't watched a Moist Critical video in many, many years, but what is this fucking cringe? What the fuck is this in the background? What is this, dude? Look at this. This is grotesque. Everything in this background, everywhere you look, everything I look at makes me fucking angrier. This is an aesthetic assault on the senses. Like, what the fuck, man? Ugh. Anyway.
A letter of intent stage where they are intending to sue Carl and have sent him the documents to indicate such, but it looks like it is going to be sent in the coming days.
And the GoFundMe raised 150,000 Australian dollars immediately. If anyone came away from that...
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably keep making vids. He probably enjoys it. You know, he probably doesn't think of it as soulless. We're talking about Moist Critical. I mean, like, all he does is, like, watch videos and talk about them. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm having a hell of a time. I'd probably keep going. Even if I didn't make any money off it. I'm not making any money off this. I'm doing this.
Video thinking that Billy was suing me for saying he cheated, it's because he had started...
So far, my only problem with Moist Critical is the aesthetic junk of that room. We need a good word for describing that aesthetic. This sort of like modern gamer Twitch aesthetic that sucks.
the process for doing exactly that. On top of...
Actually, I do have one problem with Moist Critical, was when his best videos were yeah, like, I mean, that's true. I mean, I would just make videos about stuff I care about. Yeah, I would not, like, make a video about the fucking Snow White movie. Oh my god. The modern gamer Twitch aesthetic. You know, it's kind of the that acronym made me think of the MLG. It's kind of like MLG aesthetic. It's kind of like the like modern iteration of that sort of mega MLG sort of stuff, you know, esports, that sort of shit. Gamer bro aesthetic, yeah. Yeah, put a suit on. Fucking report of the week. Fucking like a fucking 12-year-old with no money in his mum's dining room. He can put a suit on. Put a fucking suit on, dude. Okay, let's continue.
Everything else.
Oh yeah. No, that's right. I was saying, my only problem with Moist Critical is that he, like, I don't know if he's reversed this, but in response to the ACAB movement, the All Cops Are Bastards movement, he stopped doing reactions to like cops, or what's the modern version of cops? I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, like police chase videos and arrest videos, which are always fucking hilarious, because the people in them are almost always guilty and pieces of shit, you know. But anyway, whatever. When he decided to stop doing that, I was like, oh, come on, man. Come on. Seriously? Seriously? Fuck you. Fun is more important than some principled moral stance that you probably don't actually give a shit about. But anyway.
Ultimately, these extra actions never made it all the way to trial, but there was no way for me to know that at the time. And it was possibly even because of the success of the GoFundMe that Billy ended up backing down.
I'm sorry. What? I've gone out of focus again. I mean, that's an absurd statement. Whoa. Carl has a lot of money. I better not sue him for money. He might actually be able to pay me. Better not go ahead with the lawsuits. He didn't go ahead because they're ridiculous and nonsense. They were never intended to go ahead. They were intended to scare you. And it worked. Is that right? Is he good for doing that? No, of course not. Should the legal system allow for that? I don't really know how you design a system that doesn't allow for that, but that's what happened, and you fell for it. Because you are stupid.
People are now using the fact that Billy didn't go all the way through with his threats to say that the GoFundMe was a scam. But I was just responding to actions taken by Billy and
So return the money. It was for the second and third lawsuit, so return the money.
protecting
They never went ahead, return the money.
myself. And the money was used
No one's mad at Carla for creating a GoFundMe. They're mad because the thing the money was for never happened. So give it back. Give back the money. Maybe he gives back the money in this video, I don't know.
exactly for the
If he gives back the money, then all is forgiven. In my mind, if he gives the money back, then that's a gesture of good faith that I'm willing to go, you know what? I know I've been shitting on you for 2 hours about how terrible your arguments are, but I forgive you.
purposes
Part of me thinks he doesn't do that, though.
that I said it would be, which was to help cover legal fees. This narrative that this whole thing was only ever about Apollo Legend, which ironically is a narrative that started with Billy Mitchell, is completely false. And if that were the case, Billy would not have taken action against me on 4 separate occasions, with 3 of those having nothing to do with Apollo Legend.
Look at that. Get Carl's Hotmail. Carl's Hotmail is all in this.
That is why I never thought this whole thing was actually about Apollo Legend. I had been threatened and was dealing with so many actions from Billy that were related to cheating that from my perspective this Apollo Legend lawsuit was just Billy trying to capitalize on a mistake I made. But wrong or right, I was under the impression that Billy was suing me because they kept talking about his cheating, and talking about him in a negative light in general. Otherwise, those other actions made no sense whatsoever. It was clear to me that his goal was just to silence me, especially when it came to the Apollo Legend claim, as I had already removed the words and made a retraction. The only other time I mentioned the GoFundMe was at the end of a video I released in August of 2023.
Look at all these thumbnails, man. Like, they're all ironic at the time, and you look back at them now, and it's just like... Also, he looks so crazy in this picture. How crazy does he look in this picture, man? He looks fucking 57 years old.
GoFundMe, where, ironically, I was responding to Billy saying that my GoFundMe was a scam. However, in this video, I allow Billy to fully explain why he is suing me, and I even say myself that the lawsuit relates to Apollo Legend.
Okay, but time went on, and eventually, without a single source, except a now deleted post on Reddit.
Yeah, because Billy understands how ridiculous this is. Hold on. Okay, so in Carl's mind, this is his defense. This is Carl's defense. In his mind, the GoFundMe was all wrapped up in one. It was all just legal defense against Billy Mitchell. And so that's what he used it for. Whether or not these other lawsuits went ahead or not, kind of doesn't matter because it's all wrapped up in one. Now that's what I said as well, is that he said the GoFundMe is for the second and third lawsuit, but really it's all the same thing. It's defense against Billy Mitchell, and he's making the same point here. So we agree. We have agreement. The problem then becomes that everyone's impression was that you were being sued for calling him a cheater. And Carl's contention is that that's why he was being sued. That's why he was being sued, not what he was being sued for. You know what I mean? Which nobody knew, you know. And I think if everyone knew that, if everyone knew the specifics of the case a bit better, they wouldn't have donated, because it's a lot harder to monetarily support defending something as flimsy as Carl's defense against his defamation statements compared to it being about cheating, which is a very defensible defamation case. If it were about cheating, that's very defensible because you can prove that he cheated, or at least make a very strong argument that he cheated and that it's reasonable to believe he cheated. You could convince a judge that he cheated. So, you know, I do think it's still sort of disingenuous, the way he set up the GoFundMe, in my opinion. But, you know what? He's done a good explanation. I'll give him some points here. He has made it seem less grifty and scammy and disgusting. So, well done. Well done to Carl. We'll give Carl some points there. Let's continue.
Now deleted post was his only source.
From Ursat's Cats.
He blamed me for taking the life of another human being and for what I did to him. And I said, that's it.
Billy Mitchell is referring to the YouTuber Apollo Legend, who tragically took his own life in December of 2020. I won't go into specifics about this particular point because it does relate to his ongoing lawsuit against me.
I do like this video of Billy. He's coming across very well. He's presenting himself very well, and he's making a very, like, good point. Like, yeah, that's like too far. You can't say that. That's too far. But it's undercut by he's got this fucking thing. He's got his little spittle on his lip. And it's so distracting. It's the worst, man. When people have a little bit of spittle on their lip. Ugh.
Of course, I do pick apart a lot of Billy's lies, and I deny that I actually said Billy took Apollo Legend's life, because
Wipe it off.
But I wasn't trying to hide the fact that the lawsuit was related to Apollo Legend. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even made this video or say directly that it was. And of course, I do also say that the allegations of cheating are relevant, because they were being argued as well.
Oh, I mean, do I really have to talk about... Do I really have to say this again? I guess I have to, because he keeps saying it. He keeps defending that he constantly mentioned the cheating because it was part of the lawsuit, but it's only part of the lawsuit because he brought it in as a defense when it's not relevant. It's like an unrelated almost. Just because it's the same guy doesn't mean it's like totally relevant, you know. At the essence of Billy's problem, you know, his claim, has nothing to do with it. So just because you bring it in as a terrible defense doesn't mean you can characterize it as part of the case. I don't think you should do that. I guess you can. He did. I don't think you should.
After I promoted
It's disingenuous because, as is established, he already had his reputation of a cheater. So if you can make it seem like that's central to this case, then it's like, well, yeah, everyone's just going to agree with me because, like, that's obviously true, or obviously believed to be true.
the GoFundMe
By
in
everyone.
this video, it quickly reached $200,000, at which time I closed it and stopped accepting donations, which was almost a year before we went to trial. So throughout 2024, as I began talking about the trial more and more, the GoFundMe was already closed and I wasn't accepting money from the public. I have seen people point to the description of the GoFundMe and say that it didn't provide enough information or exact details about what the lawsuits and threats were about, and in that regard, I totally understand if people think that was bad practice or an issue. I can only apologize and say that I didn't give the description much thought. As I said,
All right, he's copping to it, but he's copping to it in a kind of a... He's minimizing his negligence here. He's like, well, I don't really think about it. I just kind of threw it up. I just didn't really think about a description. Whatever. It's only $200,000 fucking dollars I'm asking for. I won't put much thought into the description. You know, either he's lying and he thought a great deal about it, or he's telling the truth, in which case it's like horrifically negligent to do that. These people's money, man. Fuck you.
only mentioned or linked to the GoFundMe in 2 videos outlining things in much more detail, which I assumed people
I mean, he's in the right state. All the big theme parks are in Queensland. Go work on go to the Gold Coast. Work at Dreamworld.
people had already watched. Though if I knew the description should have included everything, I would have absolutely no problem doing just that. The fact that so many people got upset or felt misled after the judge's decision and I lost the lawsuit came as a huge shock to me. There was a lot of reporting being done around the time of the trial, and no backlash occurred then, when it was also very clear what the trial was about. And I've had many people tell me they always knew exactly what the lawsuit was about and they don't feel misled. So it would be very easy for me just to claim that people are only upset because I lost and Billy won, which is not the outcome everyone wanted. But I don't think that's entirely true either.
Good, because I was about to kill you.
I never said that Billy Mitchell sued me for cheating, but I also did not repeat or draw attention to the original claim that got me in trouble. Nor did I constantly remind people that the lawsuit related to Apollo Legend. Not because I was trying to scam anybody or mislead people, but because
I think we have
believed
SeaWorlds,
it would have been detrimental
least
to
one.
the case. I was very happy.
Yeah, so yeah, there's in the Gold Coast, at least when I was there fucking 20 years ago, longer even, there was Warner Brothers Movie World. They were all like next to each other. There was SeaWorld, Warner Brothers Movie World, and Dreamworld, I think. Yeah, I think Warner Brothers Movie World and SeaWorld were like next to each other, and then like across a highway or something was Dreamworld. Yeah. So I went to Warner Brothers Movie World. Ah, interesting.
To talk publicly about Billy
Didn't know
threatening
that.
to sue me for calling him a cheater, and to go into detail about how much of a cheater he is, because all of that is true. Despite the fact that he had threatened me multiple times for calling him a cheater, I was not afraid to continue making that claim. And I was happy to discuss his cheating even when it related to my currently ongoing lawsuit, because it was one of my defenses. When it came to Apollo Legend,
A very bad defense, but okay. I can't. I can't imagine being Carl's lawyer and going like, yep, this is a slam dunk argument. It's like so ridiculous. It's nonsense. I can't believe his lawyers went ahead with it. It makes me think like, either his lawyer is an idiot, which is unlikely given he's a lawyer. I think maybe his lawyer's just like, whatever. I don't care. I'll take a case and lose. Whatever. Just give me the cash. Give me that sweet GoFundMe money.
This was a different story. I made a claim that included...
Nah, I don't know about that. There's no mention of, like, a settlement offer. Would have been interesting. I think in general, though, lawyers do prefer settlements, but yeah.
information that was not true. I didn't accuse Billy of murdering Apollo or causing his death, so I don't think I should have lost the lawsuit, but at the end of the day, I said something that was not accurate, which I admitted to and corrected years ago.
Again, he's like conflating these two things, and because of one of them, because he's acted a certain way to one of them, that forgives the other, you know? And it's just, like, not true, you know? Like, the fact that Apollo had to pay Billy, you know? Not yet, and he also did a terrible job, but, like, the fact that the part about the money is, like... It's just, like, a small part of the overall statement, and because you disprove this small part, and whether that small part is true or not doesn't really change the impact of the whole statement. But he's treating like, well, because I corrected the small part, then, you know, I'm off the hook, right? I did the right thing, you know, when he didn't. He didn't. The statement as a whole, you know, just like, you know, like he didn't do it. But he keeps conflating these two. And whether he's doing that because he's, like, too stupid to see that they are distinct, or he's just, like, trying to manipulate the viewer. I'll let you decide at home. Yeah, I liked Billy's lawyer a lot. Yeah. He seemed good. What was his name again? Parson or something like that? Summers. P. Summers. P. Summers. We like P. Summers. Okay, let's keep going.
And I was never going to repeat it because the internet doesn't work like we want it to work. If I drew more attention to build...
Whoa. The internet doesn't work like we want it to work. Maybe it doesn't work how you want it to work, Carl. I think the internet's working just fine. Actually, it's not true, but that's a totally separate topic.
His claims about what I said, more people would have repeated it, and it would have been used against me in court. For example, Billy's team crawled through thousands and thousands of comments on two Moist critical videos about Billy Mitchell, which were released years after my video. They found a handful of comments that related to Apollo Legend, and then without any causal link, claimed that they were a direct result of my video. Even though there was no mention of me or my channel, and we don't know who these people are or why they are making these comments, the judge ruled that I'm responsible. Essentially, it didn't seem to matter if people may have come to this conclusion independently, and it didn't seem to matter if there was no evidence linking their conclusion to my original video. The blame for every single comment was entirely placed upon me.
Now that is the first good argument I have heard out of Carl Jobs' mouth. That is the first fucking good argument. We are 26 minutes into the video. We're 2 hours and 18 minutes into my analysis, and he has finally made a good argument. He's finally made a good argument. Well done. Well done. Incredible. Carl's lawyer was Mark Russo all along. But yeah, finally, this is a good argument. So, the argument that they took. So are these comments from? So there was a bunch of comments. Okay, so actually this might not be a good argument. Hold on. We need to investigate. So, Carl's claim is that on these moist critical videos, apparently his name's Mr. White, it's Walter White here. On Walter White's videos, there were some comments implying that Billy Mitchell was responsible for Apollo's suicide. Okay? That's the claim. And then Carl's defense of that is they don't mention me. There's no way to know where they got these ideas, whether they came to them independently, whether they got them from somebody else. There's no way to like prove that Carl is responsible for the belief within those people. Good argument. But if we look into the actual trial verdict here, I have in the verdict, I have this table that has a bunch of comments, right? Now, I was under the impression that these comments were on Carl's videos. And if they're on Carl's own videos, then it's very easy to see that, yes, Carl is responsible for the belief, you know. It's very easy. If it's on the video where he made the statement, you know, obviously that shows the causal link, right, that Carl is saying doesn't exist for these moist critical comments. But, I mean, I don't have the whole case here, right? This is just the verdict. So, I guess, I don't know, I guess Billy Mitchell brought in both into evidence. So, okay, I agree with Carl here. Comments on a moist critical video claiming that Billy's responsible for Apollo's suicide aren't strong evidence. That's not strong evidence. For the reasons Carl said. So, good on him, but unfortunately, there is also a large amount of comments that, and the judges selected some of the juiciest ones, I guess, that were on Carl's actual videos where this causal link does exist. So, alright, we can get rid of some of Billy's evidence, correctly defended, get rid of it. Unfortunately, that doesn't get rid of the ones on his own videos, which do exist, so, you know. So Carl may have successfully sort of, defended against the claim that sort of these, that this idea is, like, widespread throughout the internet and the larger community. You know, you could maybe make the argument, now it's restricted really just to my small my Jobsties community. I don't know, there's maybe some sort of argument you can make, but yeah. So I think Carl is a little Carl dub here. Little bit, but there are still comments that he is obviously responsible for. Because they're on his own. Anyway, let's move on. I think I've made my point.
The judge even flat out stated that no comments of this nature were ever made before my video. And not only is this one of the reasons the damages might have been so high, but it seemed to be used as proof that every comment was because of my original video. But I disagree with this statement.
Okay, hold on. Let me say that again. So,
Placed upon me. The judge even flat out stated that no comments of this nature were ever made before my video. And not only is this one of the reasons the damages might have been so high, but it seemed to be used as proof that every comment was because of my original video. But I disagree with this statement, as there were...
So let me think for a sec. So, the judge is saying that that this sort of assertion didn't really exist until Carl's video. Therefore, Carl is the originator of the idea. Okay. Now Carl's going to try and go, no, here are some examples. But, you know, here are some examples where people had sort of made this connection before I, Mr. Jobs, did. I don't think that changes much. First of all, you know, who the fuck are these people? What, some tweets with fucking 3 likes? You know, the widespread nature of his, like, the fact he has such a big platform and such a big audience is, like, very relevant, you know. Just because you find some tweet of some guy somewhere that said it 2 years before you made a video saying it to 1 million people, you know, that's not a good argument that, you know, oh, all these other people that are saying it after I made my video that 1 million people saw, you know, they probably got it from this guy. They probably got it from this guy. It's probably this guy. It was this Billy Pac-Man reply guy. That's probably where they got it from. Not me. Not me with my fucking 2 million YouTube subs. No, man. It's this Billy Pac-Man reply guy. It's this ordinary gamer's reply guy. That's where it came from. A skeleton meta reply guy said it, so when I repeat it to 1 million people, you know, who's to say where all these people on Moist Critical's video got this idea?
Plenty of comments well before my video ever came out saying that Billy was responsible. So you can see how dangerous even mentioning Apollo Legend would have been. That was my reasoning for not repeatedly bringing up Apollo Legend.
Hold on. Can we go back a sec? What was this 4chan screen cap? Come on, why would Carl put this in the video? Yeah, it's like, are all these screen caps he's producing here, were they in evidence? Did he make this argument in court? Because he should have made this argument in court. I think Billy's lawyers would have then made the argument I'm making, that, you know, some independent, you know. Yeah, don't worry, Ari, it's going on YouTube. I was originally just going to make it for YouTube, but I thought, why not stream it? Especially since it's being a fucking 3-hour video. Yeah, the point Carl's making, if he made it in court, he obviously didn't make it well enough. But why would he include this screen cap? This is his screen cap. This is the day after Apollo killed himself. He's included a 4chan screen cap. Look at this. Makes Weeby look like a child abuser. Forces Apollo Legend to kill himself. Or just advertises hot sauce. How can one man be so base? I mean, people are telling these jokes to this day. Are telling this kind of jokes. So I just think it's funny that Carl put this in the video.
Apollo Legend would have been. That was my reasoning for not repeatedly bringing up Apollo Legend, though evidently my behavior of talking about the lawsuit so many times without reminding people explicitly what it was about led to many people being confused. And if you're one of those people, I sincerely apologize.
Yeah, you
I
should.
just hope that you can consider that it was not done intentionally to mislead you or for nefarious purposes. I also made the mistake of reposting news articles covering my lawsuit, because all of the reporting that was done before the trial focused on the cheating allegations, and that wasn't the full story. As I said before, I had so many threats regarding the cheating allegations that I believed Billy's true motivations were to shut me up about the cheating videos, and the lawsuit did actually involve Billy denying those cheating allegations ever happened. However, I should have made it more clear that the lawsuit wasn't mainly about cheating. I just didn't know how to do that without jeopardizing my defense. And I also carelessly assumed most people already knew what the lawsuit was about anyway, because I had said it in one of my videos. If I truly understood the impact my actions would later have on people, I would have been much more careful. Obviously, in hindsight, it may have been better to not talk about the lawsuit at all, but I'm not
Yes.
sure if that was ever going to happen. It's just
What the fuck do you mean, Carl? Obviously, you shouldn't have talked about the lawsuit at all. Obviously. That's like the most basic, obvious advice ever. Every fucking lawyer on the planet would have told you not to talk about it. But you're a YouTuber and you want to make fucking money, so you want to make videos about it. I get it. I get that you want to make videos about it, but like obviously it's not a smart thing to do. And this is kind of an interesting way in which it backfired. But, you know, of course, it can also just jeopardize the case in court directly. Yeah, Carl, obviously, it was a very stupid thing to do. Now you're paying the price.
it's not in my nature. And this was the biggest thing
Not in my nature. Not in my nature. That's code for, I'm gonna do stupid and reckless things because, it makes me feel good in the moment, and I don't care. And I'm not gonna try and improve. You know, it's just in my nature. I can't help it. I didn't have a choice. It's in my nature.
impacting my life and this channel for multiple years. So of course I felt compelled to talk about it. I should have just found a way to be more transparent if I were to discuss it. And I can understand fully if you are disappointed in my actions, especially if you donated to the GoFundMe.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
weren't really following the trial closely and don't have much information about what happened during it, and all you're currently reading is news about the judgment or drama videos saying that I lied about everything, I'd suggest remaining skeptical for the time being. I will wait until the dust settles before discussing what happened during trial in more detail, but at some point I definitely...
I don't know if I can even trust Carl to sort of objectively and unbiasedly present how the trial went. He's like, oh, when the dust settles, I'll tell you how the trial went. Like, even in this video, there's so many, like, disingenuous things and, like, obfuscations and just, like unintentional, like, problems. Like, he just, like... I mean, I've been talking about it for 2.5 hours, right? I found so many issues with things he's saying, that I don't know if I can trust that he can describe his own trial correctly. Whether that be because he's intentionally trying to manipulate or manage his audience, or whether he just literally is incapable of doing it, is neither here nor there. But I don't know if I could really reliably trust it. Surely we can get court transcripts. Can we do that? Is that possible?
will. And hopefully at that point, you will have a better understanding about why I was so confident I would win. And it's also possible that you...
Is he going to talk about the AI thing? Because that was the dumbest fucking thing ever.
You might even agree that this judgment is simply crazy once you have
Simply crazy. No, Carl. No.
all of the details. I will say one
This is like the Papa John's founder going like, don't worry, the day of reckoning comes out. One day the truth will be known. Then you'll all know the truth. One day it's all gonna come out, and I'm gonna be totally vindicated. I doubt it. I really seriously doubt it.
thing, though. The judge found Billy Mitchell to be a credible witness and essentially accepted.
Yeah, so here again, he's making the thing that the judge believed Billy Mitchell. The judge believed Billy. He's going to pull out this line. So Carl's lawyer argued Billy Mitchell is unimpressive, unsatisfactory, or untruthful as a witness, and the judge disagreed with this. Which means the judge can do that. That kind of means the way the law works, if the judge says that, it kind of makes it the truth. Whatever the judge decides is the truth, really. Anyway, if we keep going down that track, we'll end in some sort of some semantic argument, not a philosophical argument, rather, about objective truth and that sort of shit. I don't want to get down that. Anyway. Again, Carl's making this argument, oh, well, Billy lied. Billy was just lying the whole time. And the judge just believed his lies. That's why I lost. Which is nonsense. The judge believed the evidence. The judge doesn't just believe the witness, The judge believes the mountain of evidence that he brought to prove that this was defamatory. But anyway,
full oral testimony as fact.
I kind of just want to get through this video. This has become quite the slog.
For example, we have Billy on video in 2023 during his Twin Galaxies deposition saying that the effect I've had on him is minimal.
Did the actions that Carl Jobson, David Race, and Jeremy Young and Jeff Harris take also cause you emotional distress?
That is minimal compared to this.
Why?
Because this is where it all began.
However, during my trial, he claimed that...
I mean, they said a lot of names there. They listed everyone, right? They listed, everyone that's ever, shat on Billy Mitchell. And they asked about, his emotional distress. It's yeah, it is minimal. It doesn't mean it's irrelevant, and unimportant. It's irrelevant. Yeah, this is related to cheating. Good point. It's minimal compared to Twin Galaxies doing it, because Twin Galaxies was his buddy, basically, So obviously emotionally it's gonna hurt a lot more for the official body that you're also very intimately involved in has sort of turned on you compared to just some fucking cocksucking random nothing on the internet or wherever it may be. That doesn't mean that Carl's statements didn't do anything to him, It's all relative. Relative legends. What's going on here, Joris? We're talking about a 30-minute video, and we're talking about it for 3 hours. That's what we're doing.
The exact
That's right, I'm the Keemstar of the elite.
opposite, and said that I basically ruined his life. And the judge completely disregarded his previous statements and accepted what he said at my trial at face value. And this is just one example of many times that this happened. And if you've watched any of my videos on Billy Mitchell in the past, especially those in regards to his deposition,
I don't know that, forget it.
We'll start to realize that this judgment might not be based on truthful evidence.
Well, this will be going up on YouTube, Joris, but mostly negative. It's mostly negative. I think Carla's making a lot of bad arguments. He's basically just representing his defense, which was proven in court to be not very good. And I'm pointing out my own thoughts on why the defenses are not so good. Yeah, I don't think this video is what it needed to be to excuse what Carla's done or to properly atone. Yeah, mostly negative. Yeah, we got 2.5 minutes left.
But again, I won't go into much detail until the very end. There are so many lies being spread right now that it's insane. I can totally understand people making fun of me because I lost, and because of how cocky I was.
That's me.
And I can understand if people are upset because I wasn't transparent enough and they had the wrong idea about the lawsuit.
I don't care about that.
I appreciate people are angry because I lost.
I'm mostly just having fun. I'm the first one. I'm just laughing at him because he lost. Not just because he lost. I'm laughing at him because he deserved to lose.
I made a ton of mistakes, and I
Oh,
am a great
shit,
example
yeah.
of what not to do when you're being sued.
Oh,
And
shit,
ultimately,
yeah.
I am the one that will also need to pay the biggest price.
Oh,
In certain
shit,
areas,
yeah.
I'm just an idiot, and I
Yes.
have a habit of saying things that rub people the wrong way. Of course, if I could
Yep.
go back and do things differently, I would. But some other things people are saying about me are just crazy and appear to me to be completely in bad faith. Like, people are spreading this screenshot long after the trial had finished.
He's going to talk about the AI thing. Now, before he says what he's going to... I pretty much know exactly what he's going to say. People are looking at this. Look at he's extended the screenshot to include more. But anyway, a lot of people have misinterpreted this, that, you know, they think what this screenshot means is that Carl and his lawyers fed the court transcripts into AI, or they fed their defenses into AI or something before the trial, and they were like, okay, we're golden, we're gonna win, absolutely. When no, if you read it carefully and properly and you look at the date, very clearly it's Carl using, probably he and his wife fed it into AI, you know, on a Wednesday night or something, you know, and just like for fun, like not for fun, but just like out of curiosity, out of something, out of like, let's, as Cradle 33 points out, the infallible oracle is a phrase I've used here. There are people seem to have this idea that AI is intelligent, that AI is some sort of arbiter of truth, that it is some sort of infallible oracle that you can ask it questions and it will give you the correct answer back. And that's barely even, that's not even, it's not true at all. And not only is it not true in essence of how AI works, it's also not true, it's also barely true in sort of just, if you look purely based on the outcomes of like extremely simple questions. For extremely simple questions, it'll often be very wrong, you know? So, the idea that you could feed a court case into AI and get some sort of meaningful output, you know, or even an interesting output, that what would be given back to you would be of any value whatsoever, other than, like, complete entertainment value. The idea that this would, like, calm your fears about whether you're going to win or lose or not, that it'd make you, that even just a little bit, you know, or that it would be interesting what it would think, is so nonsense. And it shows a complete lack of understanding of what AI is and how it works. Which is just, it's astonishing, but it is widespread. Carl is not unique in being this stupid with AI. And it's really infuriating to see morons using these tools like it's an infallible oracle, when the things it tells you, the things it would tell you with things of almost any complexity are completely worthless. Completely worthless. And I'm with Joe. I never use AI. I've played around with it a bit, but for the most part, it's just not, it's just not it's just not worth my time. It just does not provide me any value, at all. And I don't know, maybe that will change in the future, but right now it really provides me no value, so I don't use it. But yeah, Carl's going to point out that, people are spreading lies about me, because people are going to say that, Carl did this with his lawyers, so he thought he was going to win, but no. This is just a thing he did on his own, and he's just an idiot. He's just an idiot. Doesn't understand AI.
And using it to try and claim that I used AI in my defense or as part of my strategy, when all this is me and some friends having some fun and seeing what AI would...
Friends? What friends? You don't have friends, Carl. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you mean your wife? You might mean his wife.
say.
You might mean his wife and his kid. Those are his friends.
Many people are taking
That's
advantage
nice.
of the worst experience of my life to go after me for things that are just outrageous. And it sucks because on one hand I want to defend myself, but on the other hand I totally agree that I made a lot of mistakes. I said things publicly I shouldn't have said that made me look bad. So I do deserve to be called out for those things. But other things are just flat out wrong or just complete lies. And if I spend too much time debunking lies, it will come across as if I think I bear no responsibility for what happened, which is not the case. So I won't. I'll just say that I hope reasonable people can understand that out of context screenshots may not be indicative of what is really going on or how I really feel. This experience has been extremely...
Well, I mean, the thing is, he's used the most favorable example there, which that's his right to do, because a lot of people misinterpreted that because they didn't read it very carefully. If you read that screenshot carefully, it tells you exactly what happened, that he just told us what happened. But he's now using that, the justification that a lot of people misinterpreted that screenshot as sort of evidence that, all these Discord screenshots, they're all out of context. Basically, just ignore them. You don't know the context. You can't really make any judgments about them because they're all out of context. When in reality, all of the other screenshots are basically pretty clear about what he was saying, and you can take him at face value, like him saying, "Fuck running my videos past lawyers," Which, I actually agree with, but it is funny after he's lost his case to see that,
painful. However, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's been a huge wake-up call, and there are many lessons for me to learn. So assuming I do adequate self-reflection and
Adequate self-reflection, I doubt he will, but I hope he does. I think his conclusion, the wake-up call, is that he needs to not engage with the internet at all. He needs to treat it purely as a soulless job. He just needs to produce his slop videos, and he needs to disconnect from his audience and the internet at large. I think that's what he's going to take away from this, and I guess, in a way, he's kind of correct. I mean, really, the lesson should be... engage with the world in a healthier way, such that you don't receive such enormous hate and anger. But I don't think there's any chance of that.
grow from this, I think it will ultimately be good for this channel. I'm more motivated than
Good for the channel. Not for him, though. Not for his soul.
ever to move on and focus on producing good content and keeping myself out of trouble. So if you never really cared about this Billy Mitchell stuff and to just want to watch some entertaining YouTube videos on cheating and speedrunning, this will be great news for you. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported me for the past few years. I can assure you that you have made this process much easier than it would have been, not only for me, but for my family as well. And I'm truly sorry to everyone I let down by not handling this as well as I could have. Thanks for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I do hope that I get to see you in the next video.
He should have mentioned
1st of
Easter.
April, I lost.
Alright, that's the video. VLC looping there. I mean, no, I don't think... He knows he fucked up. But... I think his impression of how he fucked up and our impression of how he fucked up are very... They're divergent. And, I don't think he's going to grow in the way we would hope he's going to grow. You know. His YouTube career is not over. Not even close. I think his YouTube career will be fine. In the long run, I think he can, you know, he might suffer a dip for a little while, maybe. If, you know, there might be a large amount of his audience that, says, fuck this guy, I'm never watching him again. But there'll be others that don't care enough to just stop watching entirely. And then there's new people on the internet every day. You know, there are new people discovering speedrunning every day. His career is not over. He will be able to. He will be able to make a good enough income to live off. He'll still be able to make a living off YouTube. Yeah. That's how I think Carl's YouTube career will go. And honestly, there might not even be a noticeable dip. Like, I think this video will do great. This video will make him a lot of money. Yeah. So, there you go. And he's gonna need it. He's gonna need it. Well, there we go. I am once again astonished by the length of this video. My video, not Carl's. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not satisfied with this. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to release my my 2 videos on Approacher now, and then I think I'm done. Unless something crazy happens, unless there's some huge development, like, I don't know, his appeal goes through and the whole thing is dismissed. You know, unless something dramatic happens, I'm probably not going to make another video about Carl. I've had my fun, got it out of my system, we had some laughs. That's great. I will be reading this, though. I will be reading the full verdict. So I'll probably I got my 2-parter Approacher Now video, and maybe I'll do just a little short one showing up my my favorite quotes from Barlow KC, because I think there are some good ones in here. I haven't gotten to any yet, but he's still just setting the scene. He's still just describing the context. So I haven't got to him actually making judgments about anything yet. Death stream more? Yeah, well, there's going to be more GoldenEye streams soon, hopefully, if I can find the time. I do need to do my Brabham Cup match with Calais. And, you know, Frigate Day is not far away. And I still need to do Forgive It Day. But yeah. And I think I'm going to do some RTA as well sometime soon. Okay. Get up that top 50. I mean, I don't really have plans to play for points. Really, you know. I never expected this going in, but I really think I'm a world record player. I really just want to get world records. I do have a list of records that I am sort of on and off trying for. I mean, I've barely played in the last 2 years. And outside of like Brabham Cup. But once I've gotten through those records, once I've gotten them, and there's only a couple. Once I have those, then I'll do some level hopping, play for points, that sort of shit, and I can climb up to top 20 or whatever. But yeah, that's so yeah, more. I want to stream more. I am sort of invigorated again to be involved in the community and in the game. So there will be more streaming, and also this was a ton of fun, just like talking about something. I think I've all talked out about Carl. I mean, this is a 3-hour video, and then I got another like 2.5 coming down the pipeline. But I'd love some other things to talk about. If anyone has any ideas of something else I should react to and analyze, let me know. I'll probably switch it over to the Samo Sammy channel for that. But yeah, if you got anything else you want me to do this kind of thing for, let me know, because it was a lot of fun. All right. Yeah, rest in peace, 4chan. Oh yeah, we gotta do the Sholton Cup match. I gotta plan that out. But that's probably not gonna happen until May. Yeah. Anyway, what happened to 4chan? There was a huge hack. There's a huge hack, and so 4chan's anonymous, right? So no one has accounts really. So if 4chan gets hacked, users don't really have anything to super fear. But 4chan has moderators and janitors, which are just like weak moderators basically. And so all of their info got leaked. And so I think anyone who had a 4chan pass, you can buy a pass to bypass the capture. I think all of those emails got leaked. I don't know if that's everyone who ever bought a pass or people who just had an active one. I don't know. I might be in the leak for all I know. I had a 4chan pass. Although I paid with Ethereum, so I don't think I had an email tied to it. But yeah, so all this shit got leaked. All this data got leaked. All this stats got leaked. And so yeah, all the mods got all their shit leaked. Yeah. And like the full like source code of the site is leaked, so people can just make like direct exact copies of the site. So yeah, and now it's been down since, which is pretty crazy. I'm sad to see it go. Yeah, if like everything I ever posted on 4chan got somehow tied to my name, it is over. Goodbye. Goodbye. Totally over. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that would like... Because that would be... The consequences of that could be very widespread. Carl going through my 4chan post to get his revenge on me. Like, I can't think of many situations in my life that could be worse than someone compiling every 4chan post I'd ever made, and like people in my life. Yeah, if the internet has it, alright, whatever. But if like everyone I knew in real life read them all, it's like I can't really imagine a much worse situation, which means that is a genuine contender for it's time to rope. Unironically. But I don't think it's not gonna happen. Anyway, So yeah. Well, the craziest thing about the 4chan leak though was on the politics board, the most common source of posts was from Israel, which proves that like every like insane like 4chan conspiracy of the Jewish Internet Defense Force running counter ops against 4chan. It's all 100% true. It's all 100% true. Mossad was running a counter op against the politics board on 4chan for forever, basically. It's all true. It's all real. Everything's all true and real, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, that's the stream. It's 7:30 a.m. on Good Friday, so I'm going to work in a few hours. I need to chill out because I've been talking about Carl for 6 hours. 3 on this stream, 3 and a couple before. Anyway. Well, goodbye everyone. Thanks for watching.